No, 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 no.
Sorry, Kiwi. Life doesn't work out the way you pretend it does.
Oh dear, dear, dear. How did it come to this? The last days in the Baldo bunker. I'm sad. I'm feeling morose. It's the last month, I think. I don't think they've got much longer. What could happen? The results are so bad today that I think the plea is on the horizon. We might very well have a no Nick November, I suppose, because the entire story might be done by that point because it's looking bad. It's the last days. The dust is coming in the ceiling. All of the lieutenants are starting to burn their records, their super chat receipts. They're getting rid of their uniforms and they're going to, just keep it in the attic until their grandchildren find them. That's what's going on in the bunker today. How's it going, Chad? It's been a while. I've been pretty busy, pretty busy myself. So there hasn't been that many streams, although I am working on some videos. And of course, there is the ongoing Rings of Power review videos that are coming out as quickly as I can put them out. But the results of the Frank's motion are in. I wonder how it went. That's the alternate universe Nick streaming about his results. I don't think you're going to see another Nick stream for like another couple of weeks. He did one stream in the last 3 weeks, I think. I think that since it's been a bad result, every time something bad happens, he's getting less and less motivation to stream. It's very sad. But hopefully, better days are on the horizon. If he can finally accept a plea, accept the guilty verdict, and move on and start rebuilding his life. Where to begin today? I guess we'll give you a bit of a spoiler. There's a new document. We'll go through that. There was also some cope streams we've got to check out. And some very, very embarrassing behavior all round. But if you want the real big drama drop bomb today, it is this quote from the pages of the document that we'll check out in a second. All other omnibus issues are not argued with peculiarity, are otherwise specifically identified to the court as a contested issue at the omnibus hearing, whether included in the written notice or not, are denied, having been waived by the defendant. What does this mean? This is a pretty, this is a bad little line. What this means is that there were some additional issues during the omnibussing that Nick wanted to bring up, but he wanted to have the Frank's hearing first, and everyone kind of expected there'd be a second omnibus where he could go through and raise these ridiculous claims again. Unfortunately, because he dropped the old Rekieta special, which is filing the documents the last possible minute to try and run out the clock, because he tried to do that, the judge was like, you know what? No more omnibuses. We're going straight to trial. So what's going to happen next? Next is going to be the hearing. There's going to be the logistics hearing where they'll be like, can you come to court this day? No, I can't. Yes, I can. That's what's going to happen next. And then it's trial time, baby. It's court time, baby. Unless Nick does take a plea deal, which I think is what's going to happen. I'm honestly expecting a plea deal to be accepted within the next 30 days, but who knows? Maybe they'll wait until Kayla's omnibus hearing. Who can say? But it's not looking good. It's not looking good. You tried to play silly buggers with the judge, and they were like, you know what? No, you don't get to extend it another 30 days with another ridiculous hearing where you bring up watermarks or COG or British people. Well, I guess it's the same person. But no, it's over. It's over, chat. It's done. But make sure you have hit the like button before we actually get started in this. But let's rewind before we get to the actual court documents. I got them here. It's about 13 pages, issued, I believe, this morning. I feel like I'm like pretty quick on these, but it came out at like 3 a.m. my time. Like Andrew's streaming at like 3 a.m. to beat me to the punch on this. Then Sean's already in front of me as well. Like, oh, what's going on? It's a disaster. But we have to go back about a week because Nick tried to do a little stream. Actually, we got some new merch. Damn it, Nick, we lost the case again. Looking pretty good there. We got some cope as well to check out. Like this one. This is a good one. Sean and Uncivil are both retarded on this issue. Didn't age too well. Right, so let's go back to this stream. What happened? What has been happening since I've been busy in the editing mines working on the worst show that I've ever seen, which is, of course, Rings of Power? Nick tried to stream for the first time in, like, I want to say a month, and it's probably going to be the only stream for the next month. But he tried to use Rumble Player, which is an abject disaster. Absolutely disastrous. Didn't work. Terrible. He started the stream again. Oh, actually, you know what? I think it's still on his channel because he never unlists that shit. Let me just check this out. I want to see if it's still there because this is pretty funny. I mean, we could just show you, right? We can just show you if it's still there. No, he did unlist it. All right, he did unlist it. Basically, he streamed for 10 minutes. It was well, actually, it was 11 minutes. I gave it 11 out of 10 minutes for my review. A lot of the comments were really funny, which is unfortunate we can't bring it up. If you have the unlisted copy or the unlisted link, it still might work. So if anyone has that, please send it through to me, either on Discord or Twitter or DMs or something like that. The comments are absolutely a riot. They're absolutely a riot. It's like best Nick stream in years. It was pretty much, I think, the most liked comment on that video. Very, very funny. But because it didn't work on YouTube, he decided to go back to his safe space on Locals, and he did his stream talking about this big personal issue. There is a few. I have Alyssa did upload some of them, some snippets of it. We might check them out after we get through the document. It might be still in your browser. Yeah, it almost certainly is, but I've got a show to run here. I can't just go around spending minutes and minutes looking for things like that. But even from the get-go, even from the inception, it was awful. You could see, scheduled for September 21st. Holy hell. The news is a disaster. Life is a disaster. Let's jump into these stories. I have a big personal announcement. La-dee-da. So what was the big announcement? You might be asking. Big announcement. Oh, is it the 5K Locals gift? Is Nick starting a comic book? Is it going to be a return to consistent streaming? No, the big announcement was that he completed his court-mandated, not really mandated, but his court-requested rehab. He said rehab was for losers. Rehab is for people that are admitting to mistakes. All the while, he was saying this. He was attending rehab meetings by his own volition, apparently, for 90 days to prove that he could be 90 days sober. But he passed it, and now, in the government's eyes, he's officially no longer an addict. So they thought he was before. And basically the gist of this stream was he talked about how hard it is not to rope himself every day, which is very depressing. It's getting a bit dark over there. I mean, it is nighttime, I suppose, and I hate nighttime. But yeah, it was pretty bleak. It was pretty bleak. But he goes in and talks about how he's better than all the other drug addicts. He's like, well, there's guys in here that are smoking meth every day. I'm not like these losers. I'm like, okay. But there was a few little fun details in this. Of course, we've got to notice the lawyer spelling, which of course is a very common little point of humorous attention. We have this one. This one was pretty good. Advert. Adderts. What is this? Something is adderting Bing. I don't know. It doesn't look good. I don't know what's going on here. And we had this one. Of course, the Perisnal results. I don't know. I thought he was drunk. When I read the description for this video. I thought he was like loaded. He seemed to be sober in the video. He has a bit of a joke. He has a bit of a giggle, saying that like, well, he's drug free in the eyes of the government, so now he's going to have a Coke, and he opens up like obviously a can of Coke. But I wonder now if he's allowed to drink and do whatever he wants again. Now that he's got the kids back and he's not an addict in the eyes of the government, I wonder if he's free from that pesky random testing. Because if you remember, he took the unconditional what is it called? The unconditional bail, so that he could drink and do whatever he wanted anytime he wanted. But then the court case, the kids case, they said no, you can't do that if you want to have your kids back. So this is quite interesting because Nick actually has the trifecta. He has a criminal proceeding for the drugs and the guns. He has a civil proceeding for the Montegraph case, which there's actually some developments in that as well as April's case as well. We'll probably go into that at the end of the stream. But then he also has the family court. Like there is no court that this man is not in. Like people used to make fun of Nick. They used to say, well, Nick is never in court for anything. Well, now he's in every court. Checkmate, A-Logs. He's everywhere. Also, we've got to say thanks to Annette Kilpatrick, who's now a member. Thank you very much. Someone remind me to put a new Discord link out when I finish this stream, because they expire after a week or something. But we'll have to see. And also be sure to vote in our little poll we've got here. We've got 200 votes so far. Not looking good. What is Nick's next move? Plea out before the trial? I think it's got to be this. He's got to plea out. There's nothing he can do now. He pleas out. Hopefully he gets the body cam sealed, and then he can just admit that he can just say to his audience, you know what? I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it, but the government had me under their shoe. And what's more important, making a stand or having your kids back? That's the only logical way forward, I think, for Nick, where he can try and remain a shred of his audience. But he could also double down. He could also double down and take it to trial. But if he takes it to trial, the body cam footage then becomes evidence, and that moves it from confidential to public. So if he wants to fight this, if he wants to stick it to the government, we get to see the body cam, which I'm sure he doesn't want to see, doesn't want people to see. Of course, Cope and Sneed is always the right answer. There's no way you can lose by voting for that, but you can also check the results or like the stream as we go through. All right, I think we'll now get into the document. I know some people have seen it already, but it's the first time that I've seen it. There's a few little funny giggles in it. It's about 13 pages, so it won't be radically too long. We'll get through it. We'll get through it pretty good time, I think. Let me just see. Everything looks good on my end. Nice. Okay. Let us get started. This is from September 23rd. I believe it was about 12 hours ago, because it's September 25th for me now in Japan. And it is from the state of Minnesota, county of Kandiyohi. I like Nick Rekieta's children. Well, at least allegedly, right? They were. Not anymore, hopefully. The above entitled matter came before the Honorable Stephen J. Wenzel. Remember that name. There's a bit of a funny little giggle here. A little bit of meme magic happens with this name later on in the document. Judge of District Court on August 21st, 2024, for an omnibus hearing at the Kandiyohi County Courthouse, Wilmar, Minnesota. Defendant Nicholas Robert Rekieta appeared and was represented by Francis White. Francis White, if you're unaware, there's a very funny little detail about Francis White. He's basically the Barnes Walker. That's what they call him. He is a fan of Nick's, and he was a fan of both Barnes and of Nick in the locals communities before this all started. And just so happened that when Nick's situation should hit the fan, Francis White was there to say, yes, Nick, I trust your opinions. When every other lawyer that was giving good advice, Nick fired. Francis White, attorney at law. The state of Minnesota appeared by and through Kristen Pierce and Jordan Engler, assistant Kandiyohi County attorneys. Defendant is charged with 3 counts: second-degree controlled substance possession, a felony in violation of Minnesota statute. And I'm not going to read the statute names out because it gets annoying after a while. Possession of a firearm, pistol, semi-automatic military-style assault weapon, and ammunition by an ineligible person. He's not even allowed to have guns. The one thing that Americans believe in. A gross misdemeanor in violation of Minnesota statute, subdivision, blah, 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 and child endangerment exposure to a controlled substance. A gross misdemeanor in violation of Minnesota statutes. Defendant seeks a Franks hearing. Now, the Franks hearing was basically the one hope that he had to get away with murder, basically. This was like the Hail Mary. You throw this out, you say that the warrant is bad, you say, look, it was a conspiracy, my constitution, me Barnes, listen to, did you don't watch Barnes's YouTube channel, lawyer? Like, I should be free because this is unconstitutional. The idea being that because Detective Pomplum was watching Cog's channel, that means he could not see the real, true and honest version of what happened on that stream, and therefore he could not in his right mind have had that search warrant issued. And if the search warrant isn't good, then everything they find is illegal. It shouldn't be included. Not necessarily illegal, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. But no, he does not get the Franks hearing. A bit of a spoiler alert coming up. Bit of a spoiler. Defendant seeks a Franks hearing and contests seizures of his firearms. At the hearing, the defendant offered and the court received without objection Exhibit 1, application for a search warrant. Exhibit 2, Rekieta video. Oh my goodness. See, this is the real thing that killed Nick's case here. He submitted his own video into evidence, and the judge saw it and was like, Jesus Christ, this guy's got to get the death penalty. Exhibit 3, supplemental report, and Exhibit 4, rekieta.png. That's a bit funny, actually. I think I've got a few Rekieta PMGs of myself on my own computer. Exhibit 5, a letter from Candy High Child Protective Services, I believe. Defendant offered and the state objected to Exhibit 6, recording of the Steel Toe morning show. Even the state objects to watching the toe. So, unironically, like another win for the toe has been memed into reality because Aaron can't stop winning. I mean, even though he did get the charge of revenge pornography brought against him. He argued it down to a misdemeanor, and now he's going to be, I guess, sentenced in December. But basically, he's got free because I think their star witness, Gino, isn't going to bother to go up to Minnesota because nobody wants to go to Minnesota. So they don't really have any evidence against him. And Keanu's not good enough. She's not good enough. She says that she's a ride or die girl for April, but she's not going to show. And the state doesn't want to listen to Keanu either. So it looks like Aaron got away with it. Unbelievable. Another win for the toe. Literally scot-free, wiggle, wiggle. Exactly. Also, Winning Reality says, Mr. Meme, or Hey Meme, hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm doing very well. It's been very busy for me, but I have some very good news on my front. So I guess, the funny how the universe balances out, right? I mean, if I'm having a great time, someone else must be having a terrible time. I think that's how it works. At least that's how communists thinks it works. I think everything is like zero sum, but that's not actually the truth. But hopefully you're having a good time out there as well, Winning. All right. What do we have here? All right. The court took admissibility of Exhibit 6 under advisement. After review, the court determines Exhibit 6 is admissible as an offer of proof. The state uploaded Exhibit 10, Nick Rekieta's stream. Ooh, you never want to submit that into evidence. That's the death knell of your own case. On August 30th, 2024, after technical difficulties with the previous, this is the Minnesota, their like digital document system, MNDES video uploads. Supplemental Report 8 uploaded on Minnesota records and referred to in the defendant's reply memorandum was not offered nor received at the hearing. Following a briefing schedule, the court took the matter under advisement on September 6th. So it's been like 2 weeks since we've really talked about this, I think. Seems like only yesterday. Although that is probably because I've been sitting in front of the computer all day, every day, looking at Lord of the Rings memes. But that's my cross to bear. I know some people don't watch that. They don't watch that content of mine, but it's a lot of fun. You should check it out. Based upon the files, exhibits, records, proceedings, and being fully advised in the premise, the court makes the following. Oh my gosh. This is it. Here it comes, boys. The findings of fact. On May 22nd, 2024, Quinn Pomplum of the Candy County Sheriff's Office submitted an application for a search warrant supporting affidavit and search warrant regarding the premises of Nick's house in Candy County, Minnesota, and Nicholas Rekieta, the defendant. The address subject to the search warrant was known by Deputy Pomplum and to be the defendant's residence. So he knew that Nick lived there. Number 2, the search warrant was for controlled substances prohibited by law, paraphernalia commonly associated with the sales and use of controlled substances, and items that show controlled substances use that are not legal drug paraphernalia. The search warrant was signed by the district court judge on May 22nd. I believe that was Judge Fisher. Now, fun little story about Judge Fisher is that she has recused herself. I believe this is the new document. Yes. Judge Fisher has recused herself in April's case, I believe. Yes. Defendant April Eamholt. She was recused herself. So she doesn't want to touch Nick with a 12-foot pole anymore. So I think that means that for all of Nick's cases, he has the same judge. The judge that we're on now. What was his name again? It is the Honorable Stephen J. Wenzel, who apparently is a bit of a hard ass when it comes to drugs. So it might be a bit of a self-felt that he decided to request a different judge, because in Minnesota you get to get one do-over on judges, and Nick requested his 10-day do-over on Judge Fisher because he has said some very, very disgusting things about her. Makes sense, honestly. Probably, if I was in her position, I would have done the same thing. But it is very funny that the guy that he got just happened to to send one guy away for like the maximum sentence for a crime that was very similar to Nick's. Now, I don't think Nick's going to get life. I don't think he's going to get anything particularly too serious because he is a father, 5 kids. I believe he's the sole provider. I mean, they're just going to have a look at Kayla's Netflix records and look at the hours she's logged in on watching Star Trek: The Next Generation and Voyager and Deep Space Nine. And they'll be like, yeah, we need this guy out like making money because there's no way that Kayla's going to provide for these kids without him. That's why some people think that Kayla's going to turn on him and divorce Nick and like run away with the kids and the money. It's not going to happen. Nick is the money. Kayla just wants to eat her like CBD gummies, talk about CBD oil, and then just watch Star Trek. That's all she wants. Okay, she doesn't want to do dishes. They can pay someone to do that. They're not like poor people. Okay. They've got rich oil baron like grandparents. She shouldn't have to work. She should just be able to see what Cisco's up to. Like Cisco and what is that? What are the characters? Jadzia, and I actually quite like Deep Space Nine. It's a pretty good show, but I can't. The names don't come to me right now. Quark, the best character of them all, of course. Oh no, wait, no. Who's that? Who's that Cardassian guy? You know, the guy who's like he runs the clothes shop, but he's actually like a secret agent. That guy's the coolest guy. I forget his name though. 200 Watt Studio with 2 says April and the judge got some scissoring thing. Not anymore. She's recused herself. So I guess that could be the reason, is what you're implying. Garrick? Is it Garrick? Yeah, I think that's the guy. There's some pretty good Garrick memes. I shouldn't get into them though. It'll alienate the chat, and it'll also put me in some hot water if I get into some of the Garrick memes when he talks about the crimes that were committed. Well, actually, there was no crimes committed on Bejor. It's all fake news. Anyway, sorry. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Where were we? The search warrant was for controlled substances. Oh yes, we read that part. The search warrant application states that on May 16th, Candiota County Sheriff's Office Sergeant Dave Nestor received a report of a possible child neglect and controlled substance use involving defendant and his minor children. Yes, Nick has 5 kids. I think the oldest is 16, but maybe they're 17 now. I'm not sure. But the child that most people are not interested in, that's not the right word, that sounds weird. The child that most people are aware of is the one that received the positive cocaine metabolite test, and I believe they're like a 9-year-old. So there's some very strange conspiracy theories about that, but who can say? Fact number 4. Deputy Pomplum reviewed defendant's social media videos. Deputy Pomplum notes that defendant's appearance in the video changed from January 24th to May of the same year. His appearance changes are noted as common with controlled substance users. Yes, so he's acting erratic, he's getting skinny, he's becoming like a skeleton, he's going to the bathroom and getting like the booger sugar on his top, he's got the powdered donuts mark, and he's acting like a absolute madman. And you just need to look at any of like the Alyssa Clip channels to see what Nick looked like before he was healthy. And it's like night and day. It's night and day. Deputy Pomplum reviewed Aaron Eamholt's social media videos. Eamholt hosts his own social media video program. Watching Eamholt's videos, it is apparent that defendant and Eamholt previously had a friendship, and they've since had a falling out. Eamholt states in the video that he had recently experimented with cocaine and Molly. There's actually some more videos we have back here. This one is called The Steel Toe Morning Show, Nick Rekieta, The Liquor. We might review that at the end of this stream once we get through these documents, because there's some very strange little details here. But we do have some other stuff lined up. Let me see. On May 22nd, Eamholt uploaded a video where he spoke about defendant and insinuated defendant was using controlled substances. I'll just call him Aaron because Eamholt's annoying to say. During Aaron's May 22nd video, he referenced a video posted by defendant on May 21st. That's the Coke stream that we're all quite aware of. You can still see copies of it on archives, especially on Cog's archive, which is very funny because that made it into the documents. And you can also see it on Nick's own Odyssey account because he forgot the password and wasn't able to take it down, allegedly, right? Aaron notes that the white powdery substance can be seen on defendant's nose during defendant's May 21st video. And yes, we had a look at that and we examined the pixels, and everyone seemed to really enjoy the pixel peeping. So if we get a chance to do it again, then I'm sure we can find a way to make it happen. 7. Defendant's May 21st video was removed from the internet. Well, that's not entirely true. That's not entirely true. It was privated. It's not removed. It's just removed from his main YouTube channel. I believe it took longer for him to remove it from his locals, and it's still on his Odyssey account. Deputy Pomplom was able to review the defendant's video on May 21st. Defendant's May 21st video is 4 hours, 4 minutes in length, and 4 seconds, actually, to be precise. At approximately 2 minutes and 46, defendant leaves the video. Oh, this is a different one. No. Sorry, this is, they're talking about hours. So at the 2 hour and 46 minute mark, defendant leaves the video to use the restroom. Upon his return at approximately 2:54, 2 hours, 50 minutes and 40 seconds, defendant appears with a white powdery substance on his nose. Defendant's demeanor is excited. At one point, he closes one eye to be able to read the screen, rambles, and slurs his speech. Look, I've been there too. I know that one when you have to close the eye to like make things work. I've been there myself. It's not a good time, and it's very embarrassing to be online. It is what it is. It is what it is. Towards Russia for two says April, a judge got. Oh wait, you said this already. Did I? Oh no, it's anime sucks, cope and sneed. It's happening to me now. Sorry, this is the one I was trying to go to. For another 2, he says playing the hide the gavel in the judge's chambers. No, that's gross. Leave Judge Fisher alone. She's doing her best. Okay. She has to have this slanderous things about her vagina from Nick's own words following her for the rest of her life. So just leave her alone. But anyway, where were we? The funny thing about this is, I feel like Nick should have got an additional charge because during the same stream, he leaves the stream for about 30 minutes to go take a very long piss or a BJ or something, and that's very rude. Like you're doing a live stream, you just take off for like 30 minutes. The funny thing is, like the Coke break was really quick. I guess that's what Coke does, right? It makes you excited and energetic. So I guess that's why he did it. But it was the shorter of the 2 breaks, and when he went away for the second break, everyone thought he'd be gone for another 35 minutes or something, because it was like a solid half hour or something like that. But no, it was very quick, and he came back, and then of course there was the winter surprise on the top of his nose. Anyway. Point 10. Deputy Pomplom was previously a drug recognition evaluator. Based on Deputy Pomplom's training and experience, defendant's behavior in the May 21st video indicates polysubstance abuse. Well, what could that mean? Well, that means multiple sources. So you've got like probably just cocaine and alcohol is enough for this, although it could be something else. It could be Molly, which I believe they did find. They found the reketamine tablets in his bedroom as well, all sorts of things. But yeah, just multiple different intoxicants. Or I guess Coke is a stimulant, right? And alcohol is a depressant, so they kind of work against each other. So you got to balance in, got to play the scales a little bit there. Who can say? I'm not very experienced myself, so I couldn't tell you. Deputy Pomplom notes defendant's behavior is consistent with both a central nervous system stimulant and suppressant. Well, there you go. I was actually could have just finished reading the sentence, and it would have actually said exactly what I just about to say. Point 11. Deputy Pomplom's summaries of Imholt's May 22nd video and defendant's May 21st video are accurate. Oh no. That means the judge didn't buy the watermark argument. The watermark, my bros. You know what's really sad? Actually, you know what I'm noticing? There's a watermark on this document. There's a watermark on this court document, so surely it can't be admissible, right? Oh my gosh. And that's a real watermark. It's not the YouTube overlay that Nick tried to claim was a watermark. It's really funny. If you actually go back to the previous stream, I'm pretty sure it's the most previous stream that I've done on Nick. We look at the actual pixels, and I could not find any quantifiable difference. And I zoomed into the maximum that I was allowed to, so we could actually see like the actual squares of the pixels. And it's quite funny because Cog's video is so high quality, I could not tell either of the videos apart. And if you overlay them, they'll perfectly represent each other. So it doesn't matter. The argument that, well, maybe the color saturation is off, maybe the thing, they didn't buy it. Nobody bought it. Nobody thought it was going to work for even a second. Just the pension zoomers. That's what the Barnes walkers, they believed it. But no, it didn't work. And George Review for another 2 says, Judge Tuna Fisher. Oh, come on now. That's gross. Don't make me imagine the smell now. Come on now. Now, where were we? There is no indication that law enforcement viewed an altered or edited version of the defendant's video, even if it was not the original posted video. Oof. Doubling down. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Did anyone actually buy that argument though? Like for real? I know, of course, the Baldo Wash is dead because they believe everything that Nick was saying. I'm not sure about now though. Like you have to be pretty hard in the paint going for Nick to still be on his side. Or at least, I mean, and I don't. If you're a friend of Nick's, that's fine. I understand because I wouldn't abandon my friends if they were in a bad spot, right? But if you're like a viewing fan and you're trying to watch him for credibility's sake, for like legal education or entertainment, because that's what it is. It's mostly infotainment, right? You get a bit of a giggle from the chuckles and the interest in the drama, and then you learn maybe a little bit. That's what makes LawTube content so interesting to the majority of people. Basically everything that Nick has ever said has turned out to be wrong. And when it's in such 4K, like you just compare what he said. I don't think this is going to turn out like you guys think it is. Turns out exactly like everyone thinks it is. It makes it very hard to trust him for anything. He used to be a career maker. He used to be the law pope. Some people are still calling him the law pope, unironically. But now what? Now, where does he go from here? It's not looking good. Not looking good at all. So let's see. On May 23rd, law enforcement officers executed a search warrant at defendant's residence. While the residents, they found the following items: a black vial with white substance inside the master bedroom near the nightstand. Both items field tested positive for the presence of cocaine. A yellow snort tube in the master bedroom near the nightstand. Field tested positive for the presence of cocaine. A .22 caliber spent shell casing in the master bedroom near the nightstand. Now, this is apparently there was a bit of a joke. Well, not so much a joke, but the theory craft, right? They're saying like, is Nick making like brown, which is when I believe they mix gunpowder and cocaine, and it's because there's like, my understanding is that they do it because there's nitroglycerin, and that is actually used as a drug for heart medication, if I'm right, I think. Anyway, they mix it together. It's very stupid to do that, but Nick claims that this was because he has an art piece in his bedroom called the 22, which is made in the medium of 22 shells, and he was able to show that to one of the county health people eventually. When he came over to see his bedroom and he closed the door in their face, which he said absolutely did not happen, but why would you take him at his word? That's why, allegedly, there is a spent shell casing in his room. Some people are also assuming he was just letting off rounds, maybe shooting at bugs crawling on the wall or something, but it seems like, I think, like, if there's one thing you can believe Nick about, it's probably that this 22 casing is from the piece of artwork. He does have terrible taste in art, so that actually does make sense. They also found an AR with several magazines and loose ammunition under the bed in the master bedroom. A glass container with metal filters and grinder in the master bedroom dresser. Field tested positive for the presence of coke. A .45 caliber bullet in the master bedroom closet. That would be obviously for the gun, I guess. Surely. I mean, obviously it's for a gun, but the rifle, I mean. Bag with cards and a dollar bill in the master bedroom. Safe. They field tested positive for the presence of cocaine. Corner cut baggie with white powder in the master bedroom safe. Field tested positive for cocaine. This is not looking good. This is all like, of course we've seen these before. But this is all now like actual evidence. These are actual items in his court case. His only shot was to throw out the warrant. If the warrant got thrown out, all of these items, and we're not even through the list. We're not even finished going through the list of evidence that they found in his... Holy, it just keeps going. It just keeps going. This is now all evidence that the government has against him officially. Like Nick was saying in the early stage of this, like, they don't know it's cocaine. They haven't even tested it yet. How could it... I mean, it's a white substance, and it probably is cocaine, but you don't know that, right? You don't know that. But now it's just known. It's official evidence the government has. They're going to submit it to the trial, and the test results came back. So it's, without a doubt, it is what they say it is. There's no defense now. They just have him. He's 99% guilty now. Of course, there's always a 1% chance. You never know what's going to happen with a jury, right? Maybe they get, by pure, act of God, What, I don't know how many tribes. What do they have, like 11 or 6 or 11 people in Minnesota? Probably like 11, right? They just all happen to be Rekieta fanboys, and he just shows up and he just gets a W like that. That could always happen, but no, this is like 99%. He's just gone. He's just done for. He has to take the plea. That's the only thing he can do. He has to take the plea. All right, hold on a second. What is this? Can I please check if Nova is blocked? He's not blocked. I don't know. Nova is not blocked. He just keeps saying things in that the YouTube algorithm doesn't like. And they're like, oh no, I've been banned. No, no one's banned Nova. What are you talking about, guys? You don't need to free Nova. He just has to stop. He just has to clean up his language a bit, okay? I have no control over this. It's YouTube's doing, not mine. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, it's YouTube. Like I get that a lot. I get that a lot of these. That someone's always messaging me saying like, my comments have been removed. Like they haven't been removed. Like I check. They've not been removed. It's just you can't control yourself and understand. It's like, well, I've got to use my free speech. It's like, yeah, I agree with you, but it is what it is, and I have no power to control this. So do the best you can, right? All right, where were we? So this is all stuff that's going into the court case. What else has he got? Green colored tablets in the master bedroom safe, field tested positive for reketamine. Digital scale in the master bedroom safe, field tested positive for cocaine. Metal pan with white powder in the master bedroom safe, field tested positive for cocaine. Snort tubes, 2 of them actually, 1 for each nostril. And 2 metal cutters in the master bedroom safe, snort tubes, field tested positive for cocaine. I'm going to have to shorten this to just positive for coke, because it's everything is like literally everything in the bedroom is tested positive for cocaine, especially April and especially Kayla, and potentially one of the children, which is very sad. That's the really sad part about this story. 2 snort tubes and metal cutters in the master bedroom, positive for coke. $100 bill with white substance residue in the master bedroom safe, positive for coke. Bindle white bag with white powder and substance in the master bedroom safe, field tested positive for coke. 2 baggies within a baggie. You got bags in their bags. With a funnel in the master bedroom closet safe. Unknown brown substance in the master bedroom closet. Field tested negative. Okay, so this is the one thing we don't know. What is the mystery brown substance? I think some people have suggested this is Molly, but I couldn't tell you because I've never seen it before. Springfield Armory 45 caliber in garage closet safe. Here's a handgun which is a 380 in the garage closet safe. 4 45 caliber magazines and 2 380 caliber magazines full of ammunition in the garage closet safe. 45 and 223 ammunition in the garage, and Remington 870 12 gauge shotgun in the garage. A total measurable weight of cocaine found during the execution of the search warrant was for 26.67 grams with packaging. There we go. And we're up to page 6. There we go. Yeah, I'll read the chats in a second at the end of this page, but we've still got another 6 pages or so to go. The information contained within the search warrant was accurate and reliable for the reviewing judge. There was no clear false statements, significant material omissions, or material misrepresentations that caused the search warrant to be false, misleading, or in violation of the defendant's constitutional rights. All facts contained in the memorandum of the court are incorporated by reference as finding of fact. Order. The defendant's motion to schedule an evidentiary hearing pursuant to Frank's challenge is denied. That's a brutal one. No Frank's hearing. No possibility of throwing out the warrant for that. Oof. That's pretty big. That's his one shot. I mean, he had to try it. Like, people are saying, like, why did he bother doing this? It was never going to work. Well, he had to try, right? You got to try. The defendant's motion to suppress the firearms and ammunition is denied. That's the second whammy. Now, Nick's argument was, of course, that they were just looking for coke. How could they possibly find guns? That's ridiculous. What are you doing? Well, they could do it, and they did do it, and they did find them. So, unfortunate there as well. Probably will get his guns taken away for a very long time. No, can you even call him a real American at this point? He should just move to Canada. He's already on the border. Just go over there. Just go all the way, Nick. Go to Canada. All other omnibus issues not argued with particularity or otherwise specifically identified to the court as a contested issue at omnibus hearing, whether included in the written notice or not, are denied. Ooh, that's bad. having been waived by the defendant. What does this mean? Oh my gosh. We talked about it a bit at the start. But Nick had some other things he was unhappy with. He wanted to bring some more things. He wanted a second omnibus hearing. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Because he played silly buggers, because he played last minute submitting documents, the old Rekieta special. Because of all that, the judge is like, no, you don't get any more omnibus hearings. You did not argue them. Then you don't get to argue them in the future. Bring them to your day in court. It's over. No more omnibuses. Straight to trial. Denied, denied, denied. The triple whammy. Very, very, very devastating day in the bunker. Court administration shall schedule a settlement conference. The memorandum for the court is incorporated by reference by the court and the Honorable Stephen Judge Wenzel. Oh, that's a rough one. That's a brutal one. Succinct, but brutal. Yeah, I hate to see it. Well, actually, I like to see it, but... Now, Royston S. Bailey with a 2 says, if Nix pleads guilty, the body cam stuff comes out. So the body cam footage is currently private because it's part of an ongoing investigation. When it gets submitted to evidence, then it becomes... No, sorry, it's currently confidential because it's part of a... because if it's part of a government hearing. So even if Nick tried to submit consent to it, it couldn't come out right now. When it becomes... Well, let me think. It's confidential now because it's part of an ongoing investigation. When it's submitted into evidence, it becomes public. Then it could become available. So if they go to trial, if Nick tries to fight this, it becomes evidence and it's submitted, and then it's viewable by request, of course, once the minors have been edited out of it. If Nick takes a plea, then it's possible it just becomes private. And now when it's private, Nick can consent to have it released to the public. Of course, he would never do that. And any of the parties that were present could consent to make it public. With that includes the County Health Working Service lady, that includes Kayla, that includes April, and of course it includes all of the police that were present at the time. Now, it's very unlikely that they would do that. The only reason they would do that if there was some sort of gross something so terrible that they feel like the public would have to know about it. Like, you sometimes see these things where I think it happened with George Floyd. But my basic understanding is that it could be sealed only if Nick takes a plea deal, and that may be his one. That may be his one stipulation. Is like, all right, I'll plead, I'll take the plea deal, but you have to seal the body cam footage, and they may do that. But if Nick fights this, if he takes this to trial, it's absolutely public. And the next document that comes out in this, well, I guess he could try and appeal this, but I'm not sure if you can until trial date or until a trial is concluded. You'd have to ask a Minnesota attorney for that in particular. But I believe the next piece of information we'll get is that it'll be the scheduling, right? So make sure that both Nick and the prosecutor and Francis White can all make the trial date, and then it's a trial. And if it takes it to trial, the body cam is out. That's as simple as that. So if Nick's really in a no-win situation here, he either has to take the plea, which I think is his only logical move at this point, or he just tries to fight the government and potentially risking jail time, and then the body cam footage comes out anyway. So not a great position for him. Not a great position. Tutor Studio for 5 says, if they plea, will the recused judge be able to party again? I don't think so. No, she's just gone. She's totally gone from this case. Judge Fisher's not coming back. And for $2, he says, is she magistrate or... Oh, I see. Is she magistrate or is she magi gay? Very clever. I see what you did there. And Dave with the £2 says, the Schadenfreude is delicious. Barnes wrecked. Yes, Barnes... Well, Barnes doesn't really believe his argument anyway. Like, he's only saying that because that's part of his strategy, is to be as salacious as possible to get as much attention as possible, because he just loves the attention, and that's his kind of marketing strategy. I don't think Barnes believed for a second that this would actually come through, but he had to stand behind his boy. He had to be the loudest person in the room, because that's what he's done in every one of these cases that he's been a part of. You know, look at the Covington kids, look at Denzel Washington, look at Rittenhouse. He does the same thing every time, and it's very predictable. He likes to talk a big talk, but basically he's just a big attention whore. All right, what is this? What is this admin shit? I gotta check out. Hold on. Okay. Nothing I can do with it at the moment. Okay. So what else have we got here? The memorandum of the law. Let's have a look. Defendant appeared at the omnibus hearing charged with 3 counts. Defendant challenges the validity of the search warrant and moves for a Frank's hearing. Defendant also challenges seizure of the firearms during the search warrant's execution. Warrant challenges. Defendant argues that Deputy Pomplum made false statements or reckless disregard the truth in the search warrant affidavit. Defendant points to the following in support of his contention. Candy Ojai County Health Services determined a report of possible child abuse did not fit the definition of child abuse or neglect. Aaron and the defendant no longer had an amicable relationship, and the defendant alleges Deputy Pomplum watched defendant's YouTube video on a third party's YouTube channel. Can't they even say his name in the document? Say his name. It's Korg. It's Korg. The United States and Minnesota Constitution guarantee the right of people to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures that provide that there must be a finding of probable cause in order to issue a search warrant. U.S. Constitution Amendment 4 and Minnesota Court Article 1, or actually Article I believe, and 10. Probable cause to a search warrant exists if an affidavit sets forth competent evidence sufficient to lead to a reasonably prudent person to believe that there is a basis for the search in State versus Khan. A search warrant is void, and the fruits of the search must be excluded if the application includes intentional or reckless misrepresentations of the facts material to the findings of the probable cause. So I think we all understand what this means, but basically, if they lie to get the search warrant, everything is fruit of the poisonous tree, and it all gets thrown out because there is such power, such strength, the might of government that weighs down you. So they try and give you every opportunity you can to defend yourself against the power of government. But unfortunately, it looks like the conspiracy holds, and it's not going to work out well for Nick. The two-pronged test under Franks requires that the defendant to first show that the affiant deliberately made statements that were false or reckless in disregard for the truth. Secondly, the defendant must prove that these statements were material to the decision to issue a search warrant, meaning that when these erroneous statements are set aside, the remaining contents of the affidavit no longer establishes probable cause for the search. To warrant an evidentiary hearing to challenge the validity of the search warrant, the defendant must make allegations of deliberate falsehood or reckless disregard for the truth, accompanied by an offer of proof, and this is Franks versus Delaware. The offer of proof should point out specifically the portion of the warrant affidavit that is claimed to be false and should be accompanied by a statement of supporting reasons. No Franks hearing is necessary if there is an absence of evidence that an officer deliberately or recklessly omitted or falsified information material to the probable cause determination. See Anderson. In reviewing the offer of proof by the accused, even if the district court finds mischaracterizations, the accused may not necessarily be entitled to a hearing if the mischaracterization was a result of negligence rather than deliberate or reckless disregard for the truth in State versus King. Defendant first contends that Deputy Pomplum did not state in the search warrant affidavit that County Health Service determined on May 20th that a report of a possible child maltreatment involving defendant's children was found by County Health Services to not meet the definition of child abuse. The information provided in the search warrant case background indicates that Sergeant Dave Nestor received a report regarding a possible child neglect and controlled substance use. Well, it's no longer possible anymore. It's confirmed, right? The statement was used. I mean, it's not material to this argument. I'm just saying as kind of a joke. The statement was used to provide background information to explain the origin of the investigation involving defendant. There is no mention in the affidavit about any investigation by County Health Services, as County Health Services determination and investigation is largely separate and held to a different legal standard than that of law enforcement. The crux of the warrant was not the allegation of child maltreatment. It was simply provided context for the law enforcement to begin their investigation. The statements, or lack thereof, regarding County Health Services investigation is immaterial to the search warrant, and therefore does not amount to deliberate falsehood, nor was it made with a reckless disregard for the truth. Oof. Not good, not good. Defendant next argues that Deputy Pomplum misrepresented the relationship between Aaron and Nick. What does he mean by that? Oh my goodness! Look, Your Honor, they were face-licking each other. Then they had a falling out. That's the truth of it, and we know that's true because we've got a video. Where is it? Here it is. We're going to check this out at the end. The face-licking video. Oh my gosh. It's pretty gross stuff. All right, let's see. The affiant states, or throughout Aaron's video blogs, it is apparent that they and the Rekietas were friends and may have recently had a falling out. Yeah, well, he did steal his wife. That may cause a little bit of friction in a friendship, a little bit. That's a bit of a tricky one to get over. Bit of a hill that's hard to climb. Defendant asserts that Aaron and the defendant's relationship has deteriorated beyond a mere falling out, and that by failing to include disparaging statements made by Aaron on his videos about defendant, Deputy Pomplum made a material misrepresentation in the affidavit. The affidavit further explains that Imholt posted a video on May 22nd where he speaks about the defendant and insinuated controlled substance use by the defendant. I think Aaron's words was Nick was constantly on Molly and was always licking his face. That was his insinuated controlled substance use, I believe. But we'll check it out later. However, Deputy Pomplum also included information that Aaron admitted to controlled substance use himself, which is essential information for the reviewing judge to determine veracity. Oh my gosh. He did the booger sugar too, but where did he get it from? Interesting. The case background provides sufficient information to provide context of the relationship between Nick and Aaron, veracity of Aaron's statements, and provides accurate information about Aaron's video from May 22nd. The information provided by Deputy Pomplum about defendant and Aaron does not amount to a misrepresentation. It accurately describes their relationship and includes information necessary to determine veracity of any of the statements. Importantly, the information within Aaron's video is not the sole basis of the search warrant, and certain statements of defendant's drug use were corroborated by Deputy Pomplum's own observations of defendant's video, with powder on his nose consistent with a legal controlled substance, and behavior consisted with being under the influence. Did I say video? What am I saying there? Deputy Pom-Pom. Deputy Pom-Pom sounds like a fairy name. Isn't there like an old, like, I don't think it's Studio Ghibli, but it's like there's a movie called Pom Poko, and it's about tanukis, and they use their nutsacks to transform into shit. I'm not even making that up. It is a kid's movie. It's a Japanese movie, of course. But basically the gist of the movie is that humans are encroaching on the tanukis, and tanukis are raccoon dogs that are in Japan. And they use their shape-shifting power to try and convince the humans to go away. But the men are better shapeshifters than women because they've got more flap space, and that makes them able to shapeshift better. That's a brief synopsis of Pom Poko, the Tanuki story. Actually, even though it sounds ridiculous, it's actually a pretty good movie. Hold on, I got to show you what I mean. Hold on, we gotta check out Pom Poko for a second. Pom Poko. Let me see. I just want to. Here you go. This is a very real frame from Pom Poko, which I have not made up, and is very, very real and important to this. This is when they use their ball sacks. They use their ball sacks to make hang gliders. Then they get above the humans. Then they make their balls go really big, and then they just like literally fall and crush the humans. That's their kamikaze ball attack. This is a very real Japanese thing. You can blame the Japanese, and I suppose me. Anyway. But is it more degenerate than the Baldo? That's the real question. Which is more degenerate, Pom Poko or the Baldo? Which is more torturous to the ball? being subjected to a ball bombing run, or being put inside the Baldo? Who can say? Just going crazy. If you like these Japanese segues into the degeneracy of Japan, then be sure to hit the like button so I know that I should do more of them. I do have a very strange knowledge of the country, as I do live here. Let me see. Where were we? Defendant's final claim is that Deputy Pomplum did not view defendant's original May 21st video from defendant's YouTube channel, but rather watched the video from a third-party channel that reposted defendant's video. I did not watch the video in its entirety. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's not true. He didn't watch the whole video. The search warrant affidavit states, your affiant was able to review the video that was taken off of defendant's YouTube and Rumble social media sites. The video is from May 21st. Deputy Pomplom notes that defendant appears to be drinking an alcoholic beverage, and later in the video, defendant appears to have a white substance on his nose and behavior indicative of controlled substance use. The case background states that the entire video is 4 hours and 4 minutes long, with 4 seconds, of course, and that approximately 2 hours and 46 minutes into the video, defendant leaves to use the restroom. When he returns at 2 hours and 50 minutes, so he took a 4-minute Coke break. That's pretty quick, actually. That's pretty quick. Like, how long does it take to... Do you think the line was ready for him? Did you think he had to, like, put out the baggie, or do you think that April and Kayla had it ready for him? So that's a real question, you know. I assume it'd be ready, like the lines are ready to go. You probably got a message like a whoop whoop. It's like, hey Nick, the lines are ready. Come on, just pause the stream or some shit. All right. He appears to be making an excited look and has a white powdery substance on his nose. Detective Pomplom also notes that during the YouTube video, defendant had to close one eye to read the screen, rambles and slurs his speech. I mean, that's just streaming though, ain't it? You sometimes just have to do the old one eye close. The above stated timestamps describe Deputy Pomplom are consistent with the defendant's May 21st video uploaded by the state. Based on the court's review of the video, Deputy Pomplom descriptions are an accurate representation of the defendant during the May 21st video. Yeah, of course they are. Everyone expected this to be the truth. Of course it is. It is unclear if Deputy Pomplom viewed the video from the defendant's YouTube channel or from a third-party channel. The state noted that the full video from defendant's YouTube channel was disclosed to defendant on July 3rd, 2024. I guess they're saying that they got that from Nick. The full video from the defendant's YouTube channel was disclosed. Yeah. Even if the video of the defendant was a copy taken from a third-party posting, there is no suggestion that the content itself was doctored, clipped, altered, or otherwise changed. The most important part right here, right? And this is the first thing that I actually kind of talked about Sean with this. We did a stream where I jumped on and I was talking to him. And I said that, okay, even if the detective watched the video on Cog's channel rather than Nick's own channel, if it is not substantially different, and this is kind of similar to a copyright, and I know there's a bit of a meme of the copyright going around with the revenge prawn and everything, but it's kind of like very similar to a fair use argument. Like, if Cog's video, let's say it's not a stream of Nick, right? It's Avengers Endgame or something. And I use just a Marvel movie as an example because it's like everyone knows what it is, right? You can't just upload Avengers onto Cog's channel because it's not transformative. And Cog's video itself isn't transformative at all. I'm just kind of surprised about that. It's exactly the same video. And insofar, I should say, is that if there is no tangible, substantial difference in the content, the information, the stream, the arrangement of words and everything, like you can edit Nick's words to make him say some very funny things, and then we might check out one of these videos later. If there's someone's made like a not this one, where is it? Someone made like a Nick versus Nick video. I must have it on my other tab, where it makes him like he's arguing himself against what is it, attorney at law. But anyway, sorry, going on a bit of a tangent now. But the gist of what I was saying is that Cog's video, if it is not substantially different or does not misrepresent what Nick did on his own stream, then it wouldn't matter, surely, is what I was asking Sean. And he said, yeah, of course. They can just kind of make an assumption. They can see that there's no real changes, and they can just say, well, this is, it's as if it was Nick's thing. It doesn't matter where it is. It's the same thing. And let me see. Tudra Studio also says, oh no, wait, sorry. Billy Oki with $2 says, Boulder Defense Force. They're coming in hot. I don't know. I have to check the chat. Tudra Studio says, Deputy Pom Pom, please answer the question with a yif or a no. You got to stop. You got to stop these furry things. And Arlo Bubble with $10 Australian says, total Baldo victory. I mean, I guess if it's a total Baldo victory if he bet against himself in like some sort of online gambling scheme, and he's throwing the case on purpose. That's the only way it could be a Baldo victory. But that's their first super chat. Congratulations. Thank you for giving it to me. Everyone should give me their first super chats. Wait. Let me see. The office. Oh wait, I'll just read out from the top of the thing, shall I? To warrant an evidentiary hearing to challenge the validity of the search warrant, the defendant must make allegations of deliberate falsehood or reckless disregard for the truth, accompanied by an offer of proof. Hey, that rhymes, so it must be true. Franks versus Delaware. The offer of proof should point out specifically the portion of the warrant affidavit that is claimed to be false should be accompanied by a statement of supporting reasons. No Franks hearing is necessary. Ooh, that's bad. Bad for Nick. If there is absence of evidence that the officer deliberately or recklessly omitted or falsified information, material to the probable cause determination, see Anderson. In reviewing the offer of proof by the accused, even if the district court finds mischaracterizations, the accused may not necessarily be entitled to a hearing. If the mischaracterizations was a result, wait, we've done this one already, actually. Yeah, we have. Sorry. I went back way too many pages. We're on this page. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Here we go. Because we talk about the third parties. Defendant also argues Deputy Pomplom did not watch the entire May 21st video and only watched a 1-minute clip contained on the PP, the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint clip contained in Exhibit 2 shows that the defendant's video is 4 hours, 4 minutes, and 4 minutes. 4 hours, 4 minutes, and 4 seconds long. When the image is cross-referenced with the full video from Exhibit 10, the same image appears on the corresponding timestamp. They examined the pixels just like I did. Exhibit 4 is an image that is purportedly taken from the clip in the PP file. When the image of Exhibit 4 is cross-referenced with the full video of Exhibit 10, the same image appears at the corresponding timestamp. There is no evidence that the images of Exhibit 2 and 4 are an inaccurate depiction of the defendant's May 21st video. Most notably, Deputy Pomplom asserts in the affidavit that he watched the entire defendant's May 21st video. We gotta pour one out. Pour one out for Detective Pomplom. He watched the full 4 hours, 4 minutes, and 4 seconds. Like, you know, they say that, like, some people criticize the cops and everything, but this man's putting his mind and his body on the line, spending 4 hours watching a Nick stream. Woo, that's brutal. I hope he goes overtime for that. Most notably, Deputy Pomplom asserts in the affidavit that he watched the video entirely on May 21st, and that was disclosed to the defendant and provided to the court. The court does acknowledge that using social media video as support for a warrant is somewhat unusual, and caution must be used to ensure an altered video, parody, etc. are not used as support for a warrant. Well, that's actually nice that they put this in here. Maybe they realize the what you could do with like fake videos, AI, and things like that. It's pretty crazy, really. In this case, there is no indication that Deputy Pomplom did not watch the defendant's May 21st video, nor is there any evidence that the video is altered, a parody, or otherwise inaccurate. It's really astounding because Cog was kind of lazy by uploading the entire video. Like, at least, you know, Alyssa clips, she'll clip things down to find like the things that are interesting from a thing. Cog just downloaded the entire video. He's just like, you know what? I'll be having that. I'll be having that. Hey, Gover, I'll be having that. The whole video just uploaded to my channel, which is kind of crazy because Nick could actually copyright strike it. And if he had done that, if he didn't have his copyright strike rule where he doesn't do that, he could have actually potentially denied information to the the prosecutors. Kind of funny. I was actually like, I just assumed that Nick was telling the truth, which I guess is a bad move on my part when he said that that Cog's video was water stamped and clipped, but it was just the entire thing with no alterations. He went to YouTube, mate, downloaded the entire thing, and then just re-uploaded it to his secondary channel. He got about 6,000 views for it too, so I guess good for him. That'll pay for some bog roll, I suppose. Who can say? Atheist Miracle with a $10 says, this exposes Barnes as a fraud. Yep. Nate, Kurt, Legal Mindset, and Sean were all right. Of course they were. Nick is a coke head and needs help. His motion reads like a coke head wrote it. Well, I think he did write it. I think that there was one motion that he wrote that I think he wrote, and there's one that I think someone else wrote. But Nick is saying that he is not doing that, but I don't believe him. And Seed Fan with another 5 Australian. We've got a lot of Aussies in the chat today. How about that? Says, I said Nick would double down because I don't think he has the ability not to do so. Well, he has claimed that he self-diagnosed his oppositional defiant disorder, which is very cringe. That's like when a chick comes up to you in a party and tells you that she's got bipolar disorder or something, so she can be a real bitch. And she's like, "Is this supposed to endear me to you or something?" I don't know. I must have meant Wesley Snipes when I said Denzel Washington. It's not that. Should be careful with what I say. Look, anybody could mix those two up, okay? Anybody could mix those two people up. It's because I've never been to America. I've never seen a real American. It's the myopia of my travel to the Northern Hemisphere. Anyway, where were we? The court does acknowledge that. Oh, yes, I read about it. There is insufficient evidence to show that Deputy Pompom made statements or admissions in the search warrant affidavit that were false or in reckless disregard for the truth and material to the probable cause determination. Therefore, a Franks hearing is not required. Oof. Seizure of the firearms. This is when they turn Nick into a Canadian. Actually, I think Canadians can have guns. Wait, what country's not allowed to have guns apart from us? Don't say Australia. Don't say Japan either. We do get in trouble over here for those. Arlo Bubble says with a 5. Total Australia victory. There's actually like a video I want to review at some point. When one of my schedules clears up a little bit, I've got a video on my playlist that I think the channel will enjoy. There's one about the Emu War that we'll check out. But there's another one that's actually really quite interesting. It's called Australia's Psychos, the most disturbing 10 serial killers from Australia. So you can look forward to that in not too distant future. I'm not sure when, though. I'm not sure exactly when. Because like I said, this week's been very busy for me. All right, the seizure of the firearms. A warrant may be issued to search a particular place when there is a probable cause to believe that a crime has been committed and that evidence of the crime will be found at the place to be searched. And this is State versus Rubio. A search warrant pursuant to a warrant may not exceed the scope of that warrant. To test for determining whether the search has exceeded the scope of the warrant is one of the reasonableness. In determining whether the conduct of the officers executing a search warrant to the warrant was reasonable. Search pursuant to the warrant was reasonable. This court must look at the totality of the circumstances. Under the certain circumstances, items not named in the search warrant may be properly be seized. Wherein an officer lawfully executing a search warrant authorizes the seizure of certain items, inadvertently comes upon other items whose incriminating nature is immediately apparent and in plain view exception applies. Here, the search warrant provided that the police were entitled to search the premises and defend it for controlled substances, including methamphetamine, cocaine, or any other controlled substances prohibited by law, and paraphernalia commonly associated with the sale and use of controlled substances. Items that would show controlled use that would not qualify as legal drug paraphernalia. Law enforcement officers had a valid warrant to search the items of this kind described in the warrant. Therefore, under the general rule regarding the permissibility scope of a valid premises, regarding the permissible scope of valid premises, search warrants, officers were authorized to search all of the areas inside defendant's residence where one would reasonably expect to find those named controlled substances, including any containers that would conceal such items. So I think the guns were found under the bed, and it's pretty reasonable to look under the bed to see if they can find the drugs. But it seems like they may have just been in plain view. Not that it really matters, because they're, by virtue of him having drugs and being a drug user at the time that they're executing the search warrant, and that's what they were looking for, any guns in the house would have been legal under Minnesota law. And again, I've argued about the morality and the constitutionality of that actual law, but that is the case, and Nick is just frankly guilty of it. Of course, he does deserve his day in court, but I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. This is the court of public opinion. That's all I care about. I'm your favorite non-practicing non-lawyer, as people have described me. During the course of searching for the items named in the warrant, firearms and ammunition were discovered in the area where drugs could be kept during the search. The evidence of controlled substances was also found during the exception of the search warrant, namely controlled substances and paraphernalia field testing positive for controlled substances, which allowed for immediate seizure and possession of firearm ammunition as evidence for possession of firearms by user of a controlled substance. The seizure of firearms ammunition was lawful. Defendant's motion to suppress such evidence was respectfully denied. Probable cause challenge. The defendant made a vague passing reference to a probable cause challenge on page 8 of the defendant's reply memorandum filed September 6th. This probable cause challenge is untimely, and was not properly noticed or raised at the hearing. Oh no. The Rekieta special throwing in the last minute, the cornering the judge in the elevator defense. That's what we're going to call it, I suppose. Defendant made a vague passing reference to probable cause challenge on page 8. This probable cause challenge is untimely and was not properly noticed or raised at the hearing. See, that's what Nick does that a lot. He's like, well, you don't know if you've got this. Do you know if you've got drugs in your house? I mean, I know I've got no bleach in my house, but do you know if you don't have drugs? The vagary, the audacity of it. The judge isn't having it. They said no. Rejected. Denied. Signed SJW. That's the meme. There we go. There's a little bit of a surprise meme. Honorable Stephen J. Wenzel, aka SJWs. The SJWs have finally got Nick. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Does he know, chat? He intentionally signed it? He intentionally signed it as SJW, being aware of what it means? That would be too funny. That would be too funny if that was true. And since the only law that I believe in is that the funniest alternative is always true, so it must be true. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The conspiracies, the SJW conspiracy, they're coming for you, Nick. Barnes is right all along. The government is too strong. He's going to have to take the plea deal. Who can say? All right, what else we got? We got a couple of. I got that one. We did that one. All right, so let's take a little look. This is by the Third World Aristocrat. It looks like a new channel with only 283 subscribers. Why don't you go check them out? I'm going to subscribe to them right now because I've watched 2 of their videos. And they have uploaded a video called Rekieta Law versus Rekieta Law. The Frank's motion. Oh, this should be interesting. Nick has always said that if you've got 2 lawyers in a courtroom, you'll have 3 different opinions. Let's see what they could mean by this. There's one in the room. Let's see how many opinions he has.
Poe 287. Show the difference, fuck face. What is the difference between the videos? Well, one says backwards internet on it. There's the difference. That's the only difference that matters because it's different. Objection! So Frank's challenge is just a challenge to any of those statements. It says they're a lie and says that lie is material. Now, if they make some misrepresentation that has nothing to do with issuing the search warrant, then oh well. Hold it! That's not the question. The question is, why didn't the cop just not lie? So if you're stuck in the analysis of arguing over the quality of evidence, you're way in the wrong part of the trial. Objection! The idea is that alone, like they lied once, is not enough to overturn a warrant. You have to lie in material ways that are to the issuance of the warrant. And that's what Frank's challenge is for. Hold it! Well, one says backwards internet on it. There's the difference. Objection! But did it, if they change that, if they get rid of that line, does the search warrant still issue? If so, objection! You're not in the right spot. And I'm sorry that practicing lawyers have misled you into the wrong analysis by not being competent at what they talk about. But they have. They've misled you. They've let you down.
Gosh.
They have done so to...
Those dirty rat bastard practicing lawyers misleading the audience. Oh, wait, they're all right. Imagine that they're all right. They're all fucking right. Imagine my shock.
Extract money from you.
That's a really good video.
Poe 280.
Holy shit. Third World Aristocrat. New up-and-comer in the meme scene, I suppose. Go check him out. Looks like they've only started doing videos 4 weeks ago. Everybody lies except Rekieta Law. We might have to check out a few of these. These look pretty good. He's got another one called The Frank's Motion Was Denied. We might take a brief look at this one.
I know they keep saying that I'm a non-practicing lawyer, for proudly fucking so. I know they keep saying it, but I'm just sitting here going, but their analysis is bad. I started to get the feeling that maybe the practicing lawyers out there don't deal with Frank's challenges to warrants. And maybe the non-practicing lawyer, the retarded, stupid non-practicing...
It's always funny to me. Like, I'm not going to watch this whole video because you should go watch it on this guy's channel because it's he deserves the views and the likes. I'm going to like his video right now. But I'll just point out one detail. I'm not sure if this is a really heavy cup or Nick's arms are just very, very weak. You notice how he struggles to lift this mug?
And maybe the non-practicing...
It's like...
lawyer.
You can barely hold this up. I mean, if you've got problems holding things like that, you should just get a lighter cup. You know, take smaller gulps. You know, maybe not get the big gulp. Link to the channel. Yeah, I'll link the channel. It's called Third World Aristocrat. Although when a channel is small, sometimes they don't show up in search results. So there you go. If you want to go sub to this Third World Aristocrat guy, he's right there. There you go. Third World YouTube is the actual channel name. Show us my... Wait, hold on. Show us your puny arms. There you go. Actually, they do look pretty small, but they're better than Nick's at least. Oh, no. Oh, no. Now, Where was I? What we got next? What have we got next? We might take a look at this thing, the Google Notebook LM. But at first, we'll take a look at this Aaron stuff. Okay. So this is from Alyssa Clips. Gotta like the video, obviously. And it's called Steel Toe Morning Show. Nick Rekieta, the Liquor. Steel Toe Story Times. You can see this is an old video because April is still in the frame. She's still in the picture on Aaron's side, not on Nick's side.
We met our friends there. We met our new friends at that comedy show.
I do like making...
What a disaster. Chrissy Mayer has a lot to answer for. She decided to introduce this couple. She's like, you know what? You live in Minnesota, and I know the Steel Toe guy. He lives in Minnesota. Why don't you guys be friends? What's the worst that could happen? Completely fucking destroyed Nick's entire life. Well, also, like the biggest crime that Chrissy has ever committed, she got Nick to go on stage to do his stand-up routine, which was pretty brutal.
New friends.
I got licked in the face by fucking Nick. Now he's like my boy. He's fucking gay. Really is. Fucking dude licked me.
What's wrong with gay?
Fucking dude licked me the first night.
Maybe that's his thing. He likes licking.
Here's the thing.
cheeks.
Nick likes to lick, and he also likes to sneak cheek kisses.
He's a sneaky cheek kisser. Oh my goodness. He's going for those surprise kisses. Isn't that assault? I don't know.
He's a sneaky cheek kisser.
So he's cheeky.
He's secret gay.
He's secret gay.
He is. He's secret gay.
No.
Okay, I'm glad that April decided to destroy her life by going and joining the Baldo bunker. After listening to her for 5 seconds, I've concluded she deserves everything she gets.
I think he's jealous. I think he likes my lush, bare cheeks.
Ew.
And he likes
Don't
to-
say it like that. I feel uncomfortable.
He likes to smooch my lush, bare cheeks. And I don't really want to smooch him back because I don't want his forest of hair rubbing off in my lips.
I get that. That'd
Yeah,
be kind of gross.
It's disgusting.
And now she gets it every day on the down low.
Who wants beard hair?
When I say down low, obviously I'm talking
I
about.
don't.
You guys are so
cunnilingus.
dumb.
I'll tell you that much. I'll tell you this about old Nick and I.
I don't. Wait, no, I don't want to know. I don't want to know what you've done.
I'll tell you
Any of
this. No,
that. I
let me
don't
make
wanna hear
a
it.
confession.
I
We
would
both
like to stop
married
listening.
well above our station in life.
I don't feel like it.
Couple of old broken down men.
Don't say this, my man. Do you believe this though? Like, do you think that Nick married above his station? Do you think that Aaron married above his station? I don't know. Like, all I know about April is that she's tattooed out and she would abandon her man for a sniff of cocaine. So I'm pretty sure she's the bottom of the barrel in the tier list of women. So I'm not sure exactly how Aaron married above his station. I think they just assumed because they're blonde and not fat, they're like Minnesota 10s or something. Not quite the case.
Oh, I see. I would have thought you'd call me broken down. but
Couple
it's
of
fine.
old broken down old coots marrying fucking cuties. Atomic Ray says Nick has wreck in his
Nick is a fan of multiple cuties now. Unfortunately, he used to be against that, but he's now all in on that.
name. What? I didn't know that.
Holy shit.
What does that have to do with him being kind of gay?
This is from January
I don't
15th. If only someone had ever watched the Steel Toe show, they could have seen this coming a long way away. But unfortunately, not the case.
Nick Rekieta, just being a complete rat bastard, says, I have kissed Aaron multiple times.
What a mo. I do have photo evidence of some of it. Did you like it, though? That is the main question.
Look, I didn't want to bring this up. I didn't want
So now bring it up. That's a great idea.
to have disclosure time on today's program.
It's a great music group.
But I have to say, I'm not a beard rubbing on my cheeks kind of guy.
You're not?
I'm not.
I think I said this the other day. Like,
I don't like, I'll tell you what it is. I don't mind. This is going to sound so gay.
I like it how April's already trying to evacuate from she doesn't want to catch the gay.
Don't
about to
like
escape.
being kissed by men.
She's just gone.
But
that's
when
when
it
you're
comes
gonna
to
part
the
ways?
when it comes to the beard,
Yeah.
if the top part brushes up, that's not as bad as when the bottom part brushes down. Do you understand what
How
I
are you
mean?
kissing?
He's talking about going against the grain. You don't want to go against the grain. Alan with a 2 says, good morning, you Kuntz from LA to all the A-logs. Yes, how's it going, my fellow A-logs? 2 for 5 says, Aaron is making he and Nick sound like they're doing the Diddy down low business. Oh, yes. Well, The thing is, like, back when this first came out, there was a theory that, like, it wasn't so much that, because, like, Aaron talks a lot about how he was in love with Kayla, right? Like, he was talking about, oh, she's the love of my life. You know, we had a special connection. I think it's either one of two things. It was either the drugs making him go crazy, or he was just doing that to get at Nick. Because there was someone that said it earlier on, very early on. They said, like, I think Aaron doesn't want to necessarily fuck Kayla as much as he wants to fuck Nick's wife. And they're not exactly the same thing. But there you have it. There you have it.
When the hair goes down like that, that's not terrible. It's still creepy as all fuck. But when it goes like down, it bristles. It's fucked up, bro.
I think I said on the show last week that I believe it's over half of the men I've dated, which isn't that many, but most of them had beards. I've always been a facial hair kind of guy. You tried it for a little bit. I didn't hate it. I'd prefer you without it, but
Nick also
He then went on to grow a beard and then get licked on his face.
says, I can fix Halsey, and by fix, I mean make her a lesbian forever.
Where's this next one?
It's
All right. So potentially criminal, Sean, said that if Nick R goes to trial, he'll use Stoney's bar as his forward operating base to cover it. Oh, dear Jesus. Max would love to attend. Wow. Yes, Stoney's in Rockersville, Minnesota. Home of the $2 cans on Thursday. Is it Tuesday? Thursday cans, I think.
She looks at Nick's face as she wakes up and she goes, ah, fucking shit. I need some pussy now. He's like, all right, sorry. I apologize for that. Gotta work on my Rekieta impression.
I think we're banned from hanging out with him now.
That was an old.
If you want to do a Nick impression, this is what you do. You just you go like, isn't that funny and weird? And then you have to do a lot of you have to do cup holds, 3 sets of 10 like this, but it needs to be full of whiskey. Obviously, this one's empty. It was water I was drinking before. But that's how you work on your Nick impression.
Jewish gremlin I just did.
That was really mean.
Yeah, that was bad. That was just me going, I'll take all your money.
Funny and weird.
I've heard him say that a time.
That's not a good impression. That's it. That actually is not, like, I was trying to do an honoring impression. That just sounded insulting. Well,
very,
you know,
very unsexy.
It's not a good. It needs work.
You're right. Now I'm starting to think that if I were to wake up to that face too, I'd be terrified.
Oh my god!
Lesbianism. Is that a word?
And now she gets to wake up to that face every day. See, there you go. Then we jump forward where he's talking about how much he hates facial hair, and now he's got facial hair in March. This is the infamous lickening.
Terrorism.
These are great.
Let's bring
what the fuck is April wearing? Is she just wearing a bra and like a sheer top? Absolute hussy.
Raleigh's paid for this today, so thank him. Ladies and gentlemen, bringing his nipples along, shirtless Nick Rekieta.
Bed hair.
There he is. Oh, it's now we have to prove that it's actually.
Looks...
If you fucking don't
do it, don't
you?
no.
Don't.
I should have put a trigger warning on this.
Tongue, more tongue.
That got bad.
Please.
You just calm down over there before you fall off that chair.
It's like an Abercrombie and Fitch model. Fuck. Just kidding.
Oh no. Oh no. Sorry, Chad. I gotta do it. I gotta do it.
What? What?
Yep.
I gotta do it. We gotta check. We need to break out the crime lab. Sorry, chat. You know, we gotta do it. We gotta break out the crime lab once every stream. Let's take a look at this. All right. Now, as you can see, this is the most scientific thing you'll ever see. You can see this green line of Aaron's like this, and you can see April's one is like this. So you can see these lines don't intersect, which means they're going to get divorced. It was obvious from this point. We should have just done this from the beginning. The green lines don't match. Play the death note music. Oh, that's right. We talked about that, didn't we? The L's theme. If I open the crime lab up again, we'll do it. Okay. Just remind me again.
But what about Nick?
Right.
I would.
Is that everything you ever wanted?
I would.
You didn't wear short enough shorts.
Los Federales says $290 well spent.
Wait a minute.
Attaboy.
It's good. Wow. Monetizing his body.
Yes.
I don't want to hear shit about my bikini shit.
Monetizing his body.
We have our swimsuits upstairs.
Get ready for
We
Rekieta to
should
be
all
on
be
Red
naked.
Bar. Oh, is that true?
Wait, it wasn't like, speaking of monetizing of bodies, I'm not a big toe bro, so I don't know the deepest law, but wasn't there like a goal or something for April to just like wear a bikini on the show? Like, I think I remember hearing that, but I don't know if it's true or not. Can any toe boys explain this to me? Because I saw some clips where April's just sitting on a bikini in this show. But was it actually like a goal to just take her top off or something?
Monetizing his body.
We have our
get ready.
swimsuits upstairs.
$50 goal? That's a bit cheap. It's pretty cheap. You could buy like like 25 cans at Stoney's with $50.
Serious.
Get ready for
We
Rekieta to
should
be
all
on
be
Red
naked.
Bar. Oh, is that true? JH says Aaron Chrissy Mayer was blaming you for Nick Rekieta's downfall. Me? See, I would have said it was the other way around. Like if I hadn't gotten out of that fucking cyclone of shit, that could have brought me all the way down. Almost did. I would say it's the other way around. He was already a mess when I met him. I mean, high on Molly the fucking night of the show. He licked my face the fucking first night we met. We're at Benton Station. Fucking licks my face. Like, come on. We're not licking faces. Stop. He did like 3-4 times. He was a face licker.
Serial
Don't be a face
licker.
It's Chrissy's fault for having a comedy show. They should have never met. Well, no, I think Chrissy and I worked together to book that.
See, this is what happened when you let women into comedy. Just one episode of a woman doing stand-up, and she destroys an entire family of 5, 20 years of marriage down the tube. It's all Chrissy's fault. I think we know who to put the blame on this one.
She was looking for dates, and I said, well, come up here to Minnesota. So that was kind of a dual thing.
All right, what else we got here? We got this one, which is okay. I haven't seen this one. This is called Rekieta's Old Nanny, but there's a very interesting thing in this, a very interesting detail here, because when Nick was very busy and he couldn't stream, he was busy. He wasn't busy enough that he didn't have time to check out old Alyssa clips. And if you go down in the comments here, you can see, I'm not sure which, I think it was this one. So there's someone responded. It was this person with 31 reactions 11 days ago. She said, Channy, so Channy's their old nanny. Channy is the person who wanted to remain anonymous, and that's why Nick seemed so hurt when responding to someone who asked if he found out who it was. Good for her. And then Nick responded, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. So he's much too busy to stream. He's much too busy to not be watching the entire internet or read the Kiwi Farms, but he's checking out and commenting and responding to people on Alyssa Clips channel. Seems like he's he's living his best life over there.
Honky says the old nanny Cheney is kind of cute, not gonna lie. Cheney? Oh, Cheney was a fucking sweetheart. She was very cute. I like Cheney. I feel really bad about that because she was really good.
Cleaning the house. As soon as she left, the house went to absolute shit. She was the real mom of the house. She gone and just suddenly everything's covered in dust and cluster and disgusting.
She kept that house running. As you can see, it fell apart without her. But
true.
She was at their beck and call, man. She did so great. And she was very cute and she was very nice. She had a great personality. The only problem is...
So yeah, a lot of people have suggested that maybe Cheney left because she was too degenerate for her, or that Nick was trying to bring her into the throuple. Because they wanted a hot new piece, but she didn't go for it and she got weirded out.
She was wild.
Oh, and she worked for them for like 5 years as well. I forgot about that. Like for some of those kids, like the youngest kid is like what, like 6 or something. That kid his entire life has known this person. That was, doing all the chores when Kayla was upstairs watching Star Trek.
As to what was going on, and none of them knew that she was wise to going on. I remember talking to Kayla about it multiple times. I'm like, Cheney knows something's up. And Kayla's like, you think something? Yeah. How can you not? Like, I come over here and I walk straight back to your bedroom.
Like, that's the thing as well. When you say like this is all consenting adults and this is all just, people can do what they want, nobody's getting hurt. There is no way you can do these sort of degenerate relationships without kids knowing. And if you want to be a degenerate, that's fine. You can do that, but don't bring kids into the mix. Like either don't have kids and be degenerate, or wait till your kids are away at college and then be degenerate. Maybe have a little bit of self-sacrifice for people that can't defend themselves and can't leave. Because you can leave as an adult. You have the ability to leave situations. Kids can't. That's their entire worldview, is like, if my parents leave, I die. Now, of course, yeah, like state services come usually, jump in and take away kids and things like that. But the kid's psychological profile is completely built around the point of, if this person, my parents, disappear, I die. So kids can't do shit in these situations, which makes it them the ultimate victims that need to be protected. Like children and animals are the only people in society that can't advocate or defend themselves. So when they say like the kids didn't know, it's just impossible. You got 4 sleeping in the big Minnesota King. Even the youngest children will know that something's up, right? Because when they go to school or they go to church and they talk to other people, they're like, well, does your mummy have her friends sleep in the big bed? Even if there's no way for even the youngest kids wouldn't notice there was something going on. But they had 16-year-olds in the house. You think they're going to fool the 16-year-old? They're not going to notice that this thing's going on. They're just going to be blissfully unaware. When they're so hungry that they're knocking on the door and asking Aaron to cook them SpaghettiOs, they're not going to notice that something is fucking up. Of course not.
That's inappropriate. You know, you're not supposed to do that. That's not normal behavior. That's not what guests do. Guests don't go into a married woman's house. A male guest does not come to a married woman's house and then just beeline it right for her bedroom and hang out with her with the door closed. That's not what happens. And so Cheney would see that, and I think because of us, she quit. And I remember this was after I was gone. Kayla wrote me, and she goes, I talked to Cheney today, and apparently you weren't the only one who couldn't take it anymore. She said Cheney basically said the same thing you did about why she left, that she couldn't take it anymore. It wasn't right. And then I don't want to say what Cheney did after that. That's her privacy, her business, whatever. But it certainly wasn't being a nanny that she had a problem with. It was being around the degeneracy of the Rekietas and the Imholts that she had a problem with. And I totally...
yeah, just look at Nick's behavior. He's going around shirtless, licking men in his own house. You don't want to see that shit. Like, we look at it as an oddity. We're at the zoo looking at these weird animals that are going around face licking and talking about how this is their lifestyle, right? Like, that's kind of funny to watch from afar. But if you're actually up there and close and you see it, you can see and hear the lick in real time. That's some weird shit. And you don't even know, like, he's probably hitting on the nanny as well. Like, honestly, he's like dropping the subtle, like, haha, wouldn't it be funny if you join us into bed tonight? Just kidding. Unless those are probably happening all the time, especially when they're high or drunk.
We get it.
Oops, is that the end of the clip?
Totally get it.
Oh yeah, that was a short one. Nice, quick short one. Now we might jump in. I don't know. Do we want to hear about Nick's rehab chat? If you want to hear about Nick's, this one's called Rekieta Law Relapse Prevention Experience, aka Rehab, from his locals stream. If you want to see it, press 1 in the chat. We'll gauge the audience to see, and I'll see what the chat's up to for a second while we do this, while we let the results come in. It's not rehab though. 200 Studio for 2 also says, Nick, I want to feel you inside. I want to feel you inside like Kayla does. Oof. But very generous in the chat today. You can only vote once. Okay, I'm counting. Okay, you can only count once. You can't count as 0. That's a stop the count. Stop the count. A deluge of ones. It looks like it. At least he had his boxes on. Yeah, for that point as well. Sal Brown says, Nick is the man. He is leader of the household. His sole responsibility is to provide, protect, and set an example for his wife and children. Yes, absolutely. You can say that, like, maybe the government shouldn't be as involved in our lives as they are. Would totally agree with that. But the fact of the matter is that Nick's actions brought the government to his house. His irresponsibility, his passion for chasing his vices, for decadence, for being degenerate. And like I said, if you're a single guy, single woman, go nuts. I think that everyone deserves the right to destroy themselves. But when you're responsible, when you're the leader, you have to set an example and put yourself second. That's just the way it is. It looks like people want to see it, so we'll watch it in a second. Rehab is for quitters. Well, Nick talked about how going to rehab is like admitting guilt. Now, he may have to admit guilt to get his plea bargain, which is very funny. But let's see what he says about not rehab.
I have a personal announcement. I've been wanting to do it for a
This is his big personal announcement. He's excited. The announcement of an announcement that was happening for weeks. He's like, I'm going to tell you a big story. I've been wanting to tell you since September 11th. Never forget. This is his big, weird, and funny announcement that he wanted to share with his audience. Now, of course, he couldn't get his YouTube channel to work. So he had to go to his secret enclave of about 120 people. I think there was about 200 people watching this in the locals chat. That's what he's down to on his paid subscribers on locals.
while now. On September 11th, hashtag never forget, I completed recovery. Is that what you call it? It's not rehab. It's not rehab. Don't get me wrong, because it was, first of all, it's outpatient. And second of all, it was really quick. I was never diagnosed with substance use disorder. It's very important for a lot of reasons that don't really fucking matter in real life, but they matter in the world of legal things. But I did go to recovery.
Okay, it's not rehab, but he is going to a place where they talk about how they're dealing with their problems, and it helps them get clean. It's not rehab though; it's recovery rehab. Very different.
Something called relapse prevention, where they try to make sure you don't do drugs, I guess.
Not rehab.
And in celebration of completing it, I thought I'd have a little Coke. I mean,
oops, very funny joke that he's used twice. He's got a discount on that joke.
Is a little Coke.
All right, let me go back a bit.
Some recovery. And
I think there was like a moment of realization. Like you can see here, like it's like you see here, and like I said, I don't believe in body language analysis because I think it's all like not witch doctors. So what is it? It's all snake oil or whatever. People that try and sell you like these courses on how you can read body language and like read people's minds or some shit. But look, you see, like Nick, he's doing his bit, right? He's doing his bit.
Don't do drugs.
All fun, all games, and then like there's this one moment when he takes the Coke
to celebrate my graduation.
He looks off to the side, and this is when he notices. Like this is when he's like, "Oh shit!" This is the brief second where he realizes he's destroyed his own life. He's like, "Ooh, am I making these jokes about my life being destroyed?" Rough. That's a rough one. You can see the pain in those eyes. Some pain in those eyes, big fella. You doing okay over there?
Some recovery, and you know, you say a little Coke just helps you kind of get through it, right? Here's the thing: people have there's a lot of chatter or whatever out there about like what I've been doing and how much I hate my life and my kids and everything, and which is why I'm obviously just sitting around snorting cocaine and drinking a bunch all day.
So why were you just sitting around snorting a bunch of coke all day when you could have been spending time with your family? It's a good question. I'm not sure you want to bring this up. Yeah, it's not a good thing to bring up, even if you're trying to use this ironically. Why was your life in such a position that you felt like you had to escape? Because you had it all. You had the family, 20 years, marriage, monogamous allegedly, until this swinging incident or until they went to Jamaica or some point. 5 children to look after. You got the car, you've got the prestige, but it wasn't enough. Wasn't enough. So why are you doing these things? Why are you trying to escape?
Which isn't true. That sounds fun, don't get me wrong, but it's not true. Like I take something like 5 to 7 year analysis a week. I'm sure there are ways to try and fudge the 50-year system of your analysis, but it's not like easy to do, I don't think. And the easier thing is to just not try to do that, because when the government says, hey, like don't do drugs or liquor, you just don't do the drugs or liquor. That's the easy answer for some people. Now, some people,
it's even easier not to do these things prior to the government getting involved, because if your life's not in the shitter, you have less motivation to try and escape from it as well.
It's not so hard or not so simple, right? I was in recovery with a bunch of other people, and they were cool. Like they were cool, but they're all like,
I love my new meth addict friends. They're great. We're all a bunch of winners there. Although I'm better than the rest of them, right? He actually will go on to say this because I watched this stream as it happened. Although I'm not sure if it's actually in this clip, but he actually does talk about how he's not like the other ones. He's better than those degenerates. He doesn't say it like that, but you can tell. This one's called cool meth. This portion is called cool meth addicts meth-splaining. Then there's also addiction splaining, lapsed, relapse, and prolapse. And then there's the recovery, pontificating in the story, inpatient rehab, not how rehab works, and also not drunk, just smug. I think he's smug. He's drunk and being smug, that's for sure.
They're all drug addicts, so of course they're cool or whatever. That wasn't conducive to recovery. No, but they're all like really nice guys and stuff. They're all just mostly addicted to meth. Now, I don't know if you know anything about meth.
I don't.
But a meth addiction is not like an addiction to much else. There was a fentanyl guy too, but mostly meth. And it's not the same thing. And you realize that you're not, well, I realized that I was not in the same like caliber of issue that some of these guys were. And it was really interesting.
How exactly are you not in the same caliber of these people? You got raided You got your kids taken away from you for 77 days. Allegedly, you gave your daughter cocaine to help her focus is the story, but nobody really knows for sure. It might come out whether or not, we don't know. How exactly are you not in the caliber of these people doing meth and fentanyl? Because you classify them as worse because those are hard drugs. Your drugs that you did destroyed your life. How are you not like the rest of them? I'm not like the other girls. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Arlo Bubble says, you have an Australian accent, but you talk like a Scandinavian prude, Josh. I don't know how I'm being a Scandinavian prude. I said you can be degenerate, just don't be degenerate around kids. It's that simple. Leave the kids alone. It's that fucking simple. But I says, with a 5 poons from Merry Old England, says, he's alone in the kitchen at night, streaming for a few dozen people that are just there to see the lolcow moo. I'd feel bad if he wasn't a rich brat. Yes, don't worry about him. He'll be fine. He's got millions upon millions in the granddaddy's trust fund. He'll be just fine. He's got 2 houses that are mortgage free. He's selling one of the houses, so he's going to have money to pay his bills in Montegraph, who's probably going to win at this point as well. He already owes Monty $300. He needs that money.
Now, of course, they had different programs than me, right? Like, it was supposed to be that way. Some of them are in there for like a year. And again, it's outpatient, but I don't know. It's like 5 hours a day. It's very aggressive. But
that's pretty brutal. 5 hours a day. Holy shit.
Some of those guys are in there for like a year and they have to show up 2-3 times a week. Whereas for me, they're like, show up once a week if you want. But then I could show up more. I typically went 3 times a week until I was done because I wanted to get finished. Did they take your shoelaces? No. It was outpatient. I wasn't in a place. I went there in the morning.
I thought going to these places was saying that you were guilty. That's Nick's argument. If he goes, he's like, everyone says I should just go to rehab. It's weird. It's funny and weird. But that's like admitting you're guilty. Then why did you go on these extra days? Kina K also, new member status. Thank you very much. I'll upload a new Discord invite link after the stream. Just check the community tab on YouTube and you should find it there after the stream ends, provided they don't forget.
And then I went, like, it was like a class, kind of. You just, like, in with like a group and you talk about your feelings and stuff. And some people like got mad through phone.
Yeah, when I go to class, that's what we do. We talk about our feelings. There's definitely not an AA meeting, definitely not rehab. Yeah, I remember going to school and we'd go to physics or some shit and we just talk about our feelings and how we got to get off the meth. Yeah, that sounds like class to me.
Phones and other people made ramen and we watched Mystery Men. It's interesting.
Oh, you know what? Mystery Men is a great movie. This sounds better already. I love Mystery Men. Very funny movie. If you haven't seen it, you should. The Shoveler, the Blue Raja, and of course Mr. Furious. Great characters. Really, one of my childhood favorite movies, actually.
In a place where, like, you do drugs to like go party and have fun, and then the government's like, you need to do something about your drug problem. It's like you're like, well, I could just not do drugs. Like, that's fine.
Yeah, there's not doing the drugs, but then there's also feeding the children and clothing them and cleaning up the shit pigsty house. That's another little detail that was part of the recovery program, cleaning the house. Your dad had to come over and help, but you couldn't do it yourself. Thanks, Daddy.
You just try that. Like, can we just do that one? Like, that's cool. They're like, no, you have to do a class that says you're not doing drugs. Like, but that doesn't make any sense. I don't even want to do them.
Well, you were too stupid not to do drugs the first time and destroy your life, or at least do drugs in a way that could keep your life going. So yeah, if the government's treating you like a retard, maybe it's because you were acting like a retard. Kind of simple as.
And they're like, no, you got to go do this. So it's okay. So you go in there and you're sitting next to someone who cannot leave building without a supervisor, because if they leave the building, they'll go buy meth. And you're like, I don't feel like I belong here.
Here's the thing, Nick. You say that you can just stop doing the drugs, but if the government wasn't testing you, how do we know that's not true? Why should we believe you do have the willpower to not do these things unless you have an authority standing over you, like a parent or a government in this case? And like, people like to talk about how bad and evil the government is, but the only really tangible result we can see from Nick's case is that he got his life clean and he got his kids back and he cleaned his fucking house. So you're a big, scary government. Oh my goodness, they took away your kids, and now your house is clean. You're not doing drugs. Wow, seems like that was a real terrible result that you brought on yourself, right?
I don't want to go do that at all. And I don't have like there's never a compulsive need to do it. But the government has like a checklist that they go through, and they go, okay, we have this situation. Here's what we do, and that will make the person better. And I'm just like, this doesn't work at all, because I have no, I mean, again, the not doing drugs is easy. I don't know if you guys know this. I'm going to guess the majority of you are not doing drugs right now. I said this before, I'll say it again. And I know there are addicts who get offended by this, but not doing drugs is pretty damn simple. It's the default state of humanity to not be doing them. And so,
but you found a way.
So people are like, well, how do you not do drugs? Like, well, you just kind of like don't do it. You don't do it at all. And they're like, well, how do you not drink alcohol? It's like, well, miserably, but you just don't drink alcohol. You know, that's like how normal people are. But when you have addicts, they can't not do it.
Nick has talked in the past about how he has an addictive personality, and he has to remove substances from his immediate surroundings, because he can't trust himself to not do the thing that he's addicted to. And the example he used for this was EverQuest. He said that he was addicted to EverQuest when he was in university, and he had to sell his account because he could not stop himself from playing it. And I've always thought that addiction to games, and specifically MMOs like EverQuest or Warcraft, is an addiction to escapism. So it's very interesting that you see these little recursions in his own history. And if he knows that he has an addictive personality, even if it is something as trivial as video games, why did he start inviting these things to his life that he knew were much more addictive and much more destructive? He seems to know a lot about himself and his own vices, but why bring them why not just get rid of them all then?
Can't not do
I never played
drugs
EverQuest,
or
though.
whatever it is, like gambling addictions, whatever it is they're addicted to. They can't do that. And it was interesting.
He also said he was addicted to porn at one point. Imagine my shock. I really couldn't have figured that one out. How many large-breasted women can I get to join my stream? How do I make friends with OnlyFans models and invite them on my stream too? Yeah, that's a shocker that he's addicted to porn.
Because like you hear about it, but unless you've dealt with an addict or two, like you don't ever experience that.
Well, he's dealt with two addicts in his own bedroom, Kayla and April. There you go. He has dealt with an addict or two.
It doesn't make sense. Like to your brain, it doesn't make sense. For me, I love whiskey. I think it's great. I can't wait for when I can just have a glass of whiskey again. It'll be fantastic. And I absolutely will. That being said.
Ooh, he's already thinking about it. What's that? What was that Simpson clip where like what is it? He's got the whiskey in the courtroom as evidence. Like, what's that? You want me to drink you? Brownest of the brown bourbons. It's literally like that, like Lionel Hutz. Like I gotta find this because it's so like appropriate. Hold on a second, let me see. Let's see, Lionel Hutz whiskey. If I can't find this immediately, I won't do it. There it is. There you go. This is literally Nick right now talking about his whiskey. Oh wait, I gotta go across a Japanese ad. But you can see the ad, I guess. It's what recruit agent. Oh no, I better get a fucking job. All right. This is literally Nick right now. It's amazing how The Simpsons predicts everything. They even predicted Rekieta Law. Look at this.
Claims that she forgot she was carrying that bottle of delicious bourbon, brownest of the brown liquors. So tempting. What's that? You want me to drink you, but I'm in the middle of a trial. Excuse me.
He's gonna do his coke break. It's so perfect. It's so perfect. How is life so funny sometimes? You know, it kind of reminded me is like I saw when Nick was coping and sneezing on Twitter, he was arguing with a woman called Cynthia, I think. And she was just commenting, I think Cynthia was commenting on an Alyssa Clips video. And then Nick was responding to her saying, "I'm sorry, Cynthia, but no, my life is not your soap opera. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid it is. You know, maybe it's not fun for you to be going through the things that you're doing, but you absolutely are this person's soap opera because you can't stop inviting this drama into your own life. And you actually paved the way to make people's lives drama shows that you watch and have fun doing. That's what your entire trial streams were, is making real people's lives, real people's problems, your own personal drama. So, you know, you don't like it that you're now someone else's soap opera. I'm sorry, but this is the prison of you designed. You deserve what you get. I'm sorry, you get what you fucking deserve.
In the meanwhile, the government's like, you can't have whiskey right now. And I was like, all right. And the day they told me to stop having any alcohol, was like, that was the day I stopped having any alcohol.
It's worth pointing out that the day that they told him to stop having alcohol, he tested positive for alcohol. So he went to court at 9 a.m. and they found liquor, well, not liquor, but alcohol in his piss test. They were looking for drugs, but they found that he was drinking either the night before, probably like 3 or 4 a.m. as he is wont to do. Just worth noting that he said that after he was arrested, he stopped drinking entirely. He did not. He waited until the government told him on his, I believe it was his first court appearance. And the very morning of that court appearance, he tested hot for alcohol. So not doing so great over there. Judah Studio for 5 says, most addicts in rehab accept that they have an addiction. The ones that don't accept it are the ones that have a have the longer way to recover. Yeah, that's one of the things. I think he hasn't accepted it yet. He's not mad that he did something bad. He's mad he got caught. I think that's pretty obvious from his demeanor.
And it wasn't difficult to not have it. Like there's no concern. Some people, they're like, well, you're going to go out and have liquor. And it's like, but why? Like, you're going to get in trouble, big trouble if you do that. So why would you do it? And I don't know. I don't understand that. I don't understand how addiction functions in some people's brains that way, because like, it's not my experience. So that was a really interesting part of recovery, was being in a place with people like in that scenario.
Not him, no. He's not the addict. He's not one of the addicts. He's just looking at them from afar.
Lee Raggins and I have never had that issue with anything at all. But it was I've never had to deal like
Speaking of addicts, Lady Rackets, Kayla, when they got arrested, she asked the cops to go get her medication. They're like, you know, before you arrest us and take us to Slammer, can I bring my medication with me? And they're like, yeah, sure, we'll go get the pill bottle. I believe there was CBD gummies in the bottle of medication. So she was so coked out that she tried to actually smuggle weed into the jail. She couldn't bear the thought of a weekend away from getting high. That was her lifestyle. So yeah, she's not an addict though or anything. Nothing wrong with that, right? Just a few little gummies is what it is, right? I mean, I guess they are legal in Minnesota, but just the way it is, right? Can't even go a weekend in the Slammer without your little special gummy bears.
With addicts, and I don't want to oversell it here.
Or THC, whatever. Yeah, whatever. You guys know what I mean. Okay, you guys know what I mean.
Out with addicts in a safe setting with this group environment, and one of the videos we had to watch, guys, I was dying because it's a video called Lapse, Relapse, and Prolapse. And it's got a black guy talking about prolapse with the white chick.
You see how he instantly gets excited anytime there's the mention of 1, black people, and 2, prolapsing. He was like, oh, finally some entertainment.
And the black guy's like, when I was on cocaine, I would have a prolapse every weekend. And I'm like, bro, stop. Please don't ever say that sentence again. Please don't do that. And I don't know why they were so intent on saying it, but it was good. It was good. But mostly, you know, recovery was they combined like a mental health thing. And
I'm just looking at Sarah Burns because she's got the brownest of the brown liquors. Did you change that during this stream?
Claims that she
watch it again.
forgot she was carrying that bottle of delicious bourbon, brownest of the brown liquors. So tempting.
What's that? You want me to drink you?
But I'm in the middle of a trial.
But Sarah Boone's 13th lawyer says, how many rosebuds did Kayla give Drex? I don't think they actually got it on. I don't think they actually wife swapped with Drex. I think he was, even though he is a degenerate, I think he sort of believed that they had an honest family going on. But you never know, right?
Combine that with substance use, I guess, and they put you in a room and this is what I want to stress to you. I'm sure recovery works for some people, but
I don't have a problem, so it's not me. I mean, it might work. Phil Hartman ruled. Yeah, I miss Phil Hartman too. He was the best. He was the best Simpsons character. Was he like? Didn't he just have like his 70th birthday if he was alive? Right? Like I remember seeing that recently. People were saying like, in memory of Phil Hartman, he would have been 70 or something today.
the program that they had me do just didn't amount to much of anything, and it's fine because, like I said, I don't care. Like I don't have any desire to go out and have drugs or alcohol, so it's not a big deal.
I don't have any desire to go out and get drugs and alcohol. How many minutes again past was it when he says like, I can't wait till I can drink whiskey again? I'm fucking thinking about it, right? The brownest of the brown liquors. I'm thinking about it already, boys. It's like I have no desire to go out and drink drugs or alcohol. But once I can drink, once the government gets on my back, I'm gonna have that sweet, that food. Once it hits your lips, boys.
Deal. But I was like, what good did this do anybody? Like, what? For again, if some of these guys are in there for a really long time, they're in there for a year, and they're not all in there because the court requires them to be in there. And so, like, for them, it's not the same thing. Like, if they're struggling with addiction and they buck up and they're like, oh, well, they're going and grab an 8-ball of meth or whatever, they don't go to prison because they're not on probation. Some of them are, but not all of them. So it was an interesting experience. I wanted to just say there's just been a lot of talk about like all the things I'm not doing and accountability and accepting responsibility. And it's funny because there's a bunch of people out there who talk about doing that. And it's that they're like, oh, this is what someone has to do. But that's it's just a concept to them. Like they're not being asked to accept responsibility or take accountability of anything they've done, like in any real way at the time. They're just.
So the people that aren't doing drugs are the people that aren't taking any responsibility or accountability in their own lives because they didn't do the drugs in the first place. What the fuck are you guys talking about?
Pontificate.
Did my brain turn off for a second? I was reading chat. But is he actually making that argument?
About it, and that's fine for people to do. But people want like an instant result, and they want all of this stuff to have its like the whole story play out. But the story is not so quick, and the telling of the story doesn't get to be fast because we're on a government timetable. It's not mine.
It's been working pretty fast so far. With that second omnibus hearing being denied, it looks like it's going to be pretty quick, honestly. We might be seeing something as early as I think October's too early. You might get a scheduling hearing in October, but we could definitely see this resolve by November or December because, like I said, I think Nick's going to take the plea very, very quickly, very, very soon.
It's like I got phone calls the day after I was arrested that said, plea out, go to rehab and plea out this week. And I'm like, you can't even do that. Like you're not going to get.
Well, he did go to rehab. He's just not calling it rehab. And it seems like he's about to plea out. So if he'd done that as, like, maybe you can't do it the first week, whatever. But if he'd done that as quick as possible, he could have saved everyone a lot of time and money. And maybe that's money he doesn't have anymore because he decided to indulge in a $200,000 lawsuit with Montegraph rather than just apologizing. Funny and weird legal strategy.
The county attorney here to have a plea offer ready, and you're not going to negotiate one out in a week on this case. You're just not. You could in, New York or LA or Chicago or a large jurisdiction where they handle a bunch of drug cases. But out here, like, for reference, my case number is 341. That means in Candy, Ohio County in 2024, my case on May 23rd, was the 341st case in the county. All right?
Wait, hold on a second. I want to replay that.
304. My case number is 341. That's for reference. My case number is 341. That means in Candy, Ohio County in 2024, my case on May 23rd, was the 341st case in the county. All right?
There's actually like a really funny statistic where, like, because Nick doesn't really fit the proper demographics, we'll say, for drug use, he's actually increased the statistics on white families doing drugs by like a really high percentage, is like 5 or 10% or something like that, because it's just so few people in the area he lives in, Minnesota, and so few drug convictions. He's actually changed the scale in like he's literally like 10% of lawyers make up 60% of the drug use in Minnesota now. Kind of funny how that works. I remember seeing that somewhere, although I don't. The exact statistics escapes me at the moment. I'm sure somebody has seen it though.
That's the numbering. That's how the numbering scheme goes. The 341st case. That's not a lot of crime, right? That's 5 months into the year. They have 340 cases. Now, if you contrast that with someone who's charged with something up in St. Cloud, for example, who just had a hearing, his case number is 6910. Now, granted, there's several months of time between those two charges. You go from May to August, but that's 3 more months. And we're talking, we're almost 7,000 cases in that county versus 340 cases in mine. And if the progression is linear, it would have been around 700 to 800 cases in my county. Actually, if you look at April's case, you can find out kind of that linear progression of case numbers that they've had.
It's also kind of funny now that I think about it, that he talks about how you can't get a plea deal that quickly, when Kayla got a plea deal pretty quickly. And like Nick even joked about that. He's like, well, Kayla got a plea deal. I guess that means I didn't get one either. Like, tee-hee. That means we must be breaking up. Tee-hee. It's almost certainly that Nick has already received a plea offer. And he was waiting for this boneheaded Hail Mary to see if it would work or not. Now that it's failed, I assume he accepts what was on the table. But his bargaining position may have changed now, so maybe they're not going to just give him the deal that they would have given before. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how nice they are, considering how much shit he's talked about them and how much conspiracy and how much collusion thing that's going on in the small government law firms, or I guess government law firms. Well, not law firms, prosecutors' offices, I should say. I wonder if maybe they want to come back and rescind their offer and maybe go for something a bit stricter.
Whereas the other one is significantly higher. Different counties have different ways of dealing things. Just weren't going to get.
I'm confused at this comment, and I think that chat needs to be confused by it too. Sneed After Coke says Nick will not take a plea. Stop sounding like a Baldo washer. What is the meaning behind this comment? Why would a Baldo washer say that Nick would take a plea? Surely the Baldo washers think that Nick would get away because he's such a smart and intelligent lawyer. Taking a plea is a losing position for Nick. Like, taking a plea is admitting that he was wrong, and taking whatever the government is going to offer him, and it's very bad for his career. It's bad for his YouTube career, but it's very much the best position he can take, the smartest position he can take, because they've got him dead to rights. So, what do you mean by this comment? I'm not sure if you misunderstood what you typed. I'll give you another chance, but I think you are really confused, my friend. Maybe the 9 a.m. Coke session wasn't a good idea. Fatty Caddy gifted 1 membership and also a 2nd membership. Thank you very much, Fatty Caddy. Much appreciated.
Do that case in a week, it wasn't going to happen. They don't have the same machine. That being said, the other part of that was people said, go to rehab, check yourself into rehab. And people want to
sorry, I'll rewind the tape so we can get the beginning of the inpatient rehab thing. But here's the idea. Does Nick still have a YouTube career? Does he though? Like, he has momentum and he has a lot of hate watchers. But what percentage of his viewer base do you think are now watching because they like what he has to say? Or what percentage do you think is now watching because they just hate him and they want to see if he fucks up again? You can go a long way with hate watchers, to be honest, but eventually you get boring and they start hating on somebody else, or they just find a better constructive use of their time. So how many diehard viewers does he really have left? That's a very interesting question, really. If we looked at this local stream, when I saw the restream of it, I saw 186 people in the chat on locals that were paid. And of course, you have to be a paid watcher to watch a local stream. So those are obviously going to be the biggest supporters, or the people that bought like a year subscription or something. 180. That's not enough. That's not enough. You need like, I think for live stream viewers, you need like a solid 1,000 or so diehard supporters to kind of make your life make sense. Now, it's okay for Nick. Nick doesn't really need to worry about these sort of things because he can coast through life with his daddy's help and with granddaddy's help, because he has access to a trust fund. My understanding from a confidential source is that his trust fund pays out based on the number of children he has. And let's just assume it's like $1,000 a month per child. So he's getting like a bare minimum income of $5,000, something like that. And he has this because, if you're unaware, his grandparents, literally hundreds of millions of dollars, oil barons. They donated a hospital wing to like an entire wing is named after them. I believe in Texas, right? But very rich, and they're the ones that paid for him to go through law school and help him pay off his mortgage. Like, think about this. Like, how would a man with 2 houses and 5 children not work for 2 years based off his own LinkedIn and both based on his own stories, while he put himself through night school? Or I guess it wasn't even night school. I said it was just like full-time law student, right? And how do you come out with 5 kids, 2 houses, and no mortgages unless these are being paid for by other people? Nick never had a really successful career as any of his previous jobs. He was working as a bank, selling insurance. What else did he had a small law firm. Like, he did that for like a year, maybe a couple years before he became a YouTuber. These aren't big money makers. These aren't things that pay off a mortgage of a house that's worth, like, his second house only is on sale at the moment for about $400,000. We can assume he paid somewhere in the range of, well, I guess he got given it, right? It was probably a wedding present or something. But he owns 2 houses that combined are worth over $1 million. He's earned over, I believe, $4 million on YouTube. In Super Chats alone, I think it's like $1.4 million. So even if he doesn't work again, he's fine. But does he have a YouTube career? I'm not so sure about that. Like, once the interest dies down, once the people get bored of this sideshow, and that'll probably happen a lot faster now, that if he does take the plea deal, what does he do next? He can coast forever on his life situation. That's good for him. That's good for him. He's actually talked about this before on the stream. He said himself, if his YouTube channel was deleted tomorrow, he would be okay because he has no mortgage to pay for. And he has, he's got money in the bank. Not only collateral, but like I said, 2 houses. He's got his new fancy car. He does have that $200,000 debt he owes to what's his name, Rendaza. He may have already paid that. I'm not sure. And he's going to probably be owing Montegraph a lot of money. But I'm not sure. I'm not convinced he has a YouTube career left, honestly. Once people get bored of this. But anyway, we'll go back to the beginning of this because we'll go back to the beginning of this. This is not how rehab works. That's what we need to check out.
That being said, the other part of that was people said, go to rehab, check yourself into rehab. And people wanted me to go to inpatient rehab to do, like, I don't know, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that. And they're like, that'll be good. And that's not how rehab works. It's also not how the law works. And it wouldn't have made any sense to do so. It's like you're watching TV or something. It's like, just go. You just go. Like, you have to have a diagnosis, typically. Now, if you're rich and a celebrity, you can go to rehab, and that rehab is basically a really fucking nice detox resort. Sure, they have all of that stuff. But real people who have real problems and real court cases, you don't just go, well, I'm going to just run and I'll just check myself into rehab. Like 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Who cares? Like, I'll just be in there.
It seems like he's arguing the definition of what rehab is to him. And for him, rehab is like the Betty Ford Clinic or something. I think the majority of people that go through these, when you say rehab to someone, you don't necessarily mean you're going away to the Betty Ford Clinic in America or some shit. You're talking about going into a position where you are removed from drugs and you're trying to get your life back on track. You're trying to get clean. You have someone watching over you. You have like people monitoring you, this sort of things. Like, that can happen for a lot of regular people. It seems to be this weird definition argument that he kind of does a lot. Internet Guy says, can you explain the Baldo reference? I've got something for that, which is the AI reading of this. I believe they explain the Baldo in this. So we might check out that in a second, but I'll come back to your chat. All right. But I'm not going to explain it at this right moment.
You can't just do that. And pile that on with, we had a family law case going with our kids involved. Like, we couldn't be gone for 6 to 8 weeks. They needed us here. They needed us to do various things and meet various goals to go ahead and resolve that. The practicality of law and the criminal justice system is so much different than the impact people seem to give it. And it clashes heavily with their expectations and their desires for a quickly resolved story. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. The story's got a long way to go. KCP says he's drunk.
So he made this video obviously happened before his Frank's motion was denied. Let me see. All right, just a second. I'll mute myself briefly, but I'll be right back. All right, that should be good. All right, I have to get past this one ad. All right, so there we go. I'll unmute myself now. There we go. All right, so John D says, can you explain it with a Simpsons reference?
Yes.
There you go, I can. But I choose not to.
Guys, I have almost daily urinalysis tests going back to June. I can't drink. Oh my God.
The question is, if he can't drink because he was getting daily urine analysis tests, but he just completed his rehab of like 90 days sober or some shit. So wouldn't he now be entering a phase of in his life when he can drink again because he's not being tested like constantly? Am I stupid when I think about this? Surely once you pass the monitoring process, you then stop being monitored. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy. Fatty Caddy with a 2 says, Nick lacks the money to go to rehab. Poverty, myopia. Yes, indeed, he does. He could absolutely afford to be away from his kids for 6 weeks. He could just get his rich parents that actually volunteered to look after his kids for 77 days, which I'm pretty sure is more than 10. What is that? 77 days is like 10 weeks. So his kids were able to be looked after family members for at least 10 weeks, and he didn't have 6 weeks where he could go to rehab, him and Kayla. That's funny and weird. All right, now let's check this out. So this is something that's very popular recently. It's called Google Notebook LM. Now, this is a program which you can use to I guess it's supposed to be for journalists to help collate their thoughts, but they've implemented a new thing where you can put in the details, like you can put in your thesis or some shit, and then it'll generate. Oh yeah, it's exactly 11 weeks actually. Uncivil's right. It'll generate like an NPR style discussion between like a man and a woman where they talk about like whatever you want to talk about, right? So it's if you have something you like really boring you don't want to read, like let's say it's like I don't know how the speed of light works for good logic. He needs help with that. He could put that in, and it would spit out an NPR style thing where it's like, hey, have you heard about this speed of light thing? Yeah, that's the universal constant, isn't it? That's right. And it goes on like that. So we're going to check this out. This is like 30 minutes, but we'll watch it at 1.25 speed. This is the downfall of Nick Rekieta using Google's Notebook LM. Let's see how good AI has gotten. This is actually kind of scary funny, how good this is.
All right, so today we're diving into a story.
So this is entirely AI generated, and it's like a back and forth between a man who's like the authority and the woman that's kind of like the audience stand-in. It's very fascinating, actually. Lee Lowe with another Australian 5 says, Nick the dry drunk. He's not as bad as everyone else, setting himself up for failure. Yeah, it's not, I don't think it's looking too good for the Baldo man, but we'll have to see.
And honestly, it's one of those that's just wild, like watching a car crash, but in slow motion.
Yeah.
Except the car is driven by, get this, a lawyer who'll be quoting Shakespeare 1 minute and then ranting about sex toys the next.
Yeah.
There you go. So the person that was asking before, can you explain the Baldo? This is the Baldo. The Baldo is a sex toy for an impotent man. The idea is, you see how there's like, well, like we combine it's the poor man too, right? Of balls being testicles and dough as in dildo. So what you do is you shave your balls and then lube them up. You then insert them inside this hard rubber casing. So you've got one ball comes out this side and the other ball comes out the other side. You then have a rigid ball dildo that you can stick into someone's vagina and or asshole. Now, this was introduced to Nick by a man called Drexel, who is very degenerate in his own right. But he thought that this was a toy that was for DPing a girl. So like you could be, boning her with your real cock, and then you could be, like doing her ass with your testicles could be inside her asshole while you were like however many inches deep you were. All right, that's what he thought the idea was. Now, The reality of the baldo is that if you cannot get hard, you can then use your balls instead. Nick has used this device on his wife and probably April. He has baldoed Kayla. He confirmed this on his own stream, and he said he pretty much enjoyed it. The idea behind the baldo company is that apparently there's more nerve endings in the testicles than there is in the shaft. So apparently there's this legendary ballgasm, which I don't think exists. I don't know about you guys, but this sounds painful and like torture to me. And these rings, you might be asking what these rings are. So you use these rings to space out the balls in the sack and make it tighter. Apparently one ring is good, according to Nick, but he hasn't tried 2 rings. There are several members of LawTube that own baldos as a haha funny weird joke. I would put it to you that if you have one of these in your house, there's no chance that you don't try it out. That is a baldo. And Arlo Bubble with another 5 from Australia says, I'm not like the other addicts, says every addict ever. Yeah, exactly. Does Jeff still have the baldo emoji? The baldo was like, I won't lie. I thought the baldo was very funny when I heard about it. But the thing is, when you tell a joke too many times, it starts to become weird, right? You know?
It's really a fascinating study, you know, in how online fame can just twist and turn so quickly, especially when you throw in like the parasocial relationships, the darker side of internet culture.
Oh my goodness, Mandy K, the catfish. This is fascinating because like this NPR style like back and forth that's completely computer generated comes up with these weird details, right? Now, if you're unaware who Mandy K was, Mandy was a baldo simp, and spoiler alert: the first 3 letters of their name, Mandy, is who they were and what they were. They were apparently this super hot, big-tittied mechanic who was driving around cars that only men would care about and was constantly having the parasocial relationship with Nick in his chat. And that's Nick actually serenaded her once, saying, "Oh, Mandy," and did that song. And one time when Nick was drunk, because he used to be the big family man, he used to be the big, like, I will never sign your tits, that's degenerate shit. He literally said on stream once, Mandy, I have rethought my position, and if you come to Anime Matsuri, I will sign your tits. I don't know how my wife's going to take it. She'll warm up to it. There's literally stream archives of him saying this. He's like begging to an audience of like thousands of people. He's like, by the way, that one person that's in the chat that I have a parasocial relationship with, if you come to Anime Matsuri, I will touch your breasts. He literally said that live on stream once. Now, it turns out, big shocker, that this person was a catfish, and they were a man, and they were in the Discord. They then disappeared, and nobody's heard of Mandy since. But who can say? Who can say? Hey, look at that! It's Third World. Third World. It's the guy that is a channel. It's the guy that owns this thing. Look at that. He says the clips in this video. There you go. There you go. Good stuff. We shouted you out earlier, Third World aristocrat. There you go. And I've subscribed to you even. So there's a kickback. So hopefully you get a big boost. I mean, probably not from my channel, but this Rekieta Law versus Rekieta Law, the Franks motion was very funny. That was really good work. So I appreciate that.
All of that.
You're not kidding. We've got articles, forum threads, court documents, you name it, all chronicling this guy's downfall. But for those who maybe missed the first few seasons of this saga, let's rewind to the beginning.
Okay.
Nick Rekieta,
Oh
lawyer, family man.
Right.
This is really funny. This is look at young Nick. It kind of looks like a different person. Like you can kind of see the goblin in Kayla. Like she always had a little bit of a goblin face. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think that Kayla's an unattractive woman, but she definitely has like pieces of goblin in her. You can see it's like the sharp teeth and the pointy eyes and the sharp features. There's something predatory about this that only a goblin or an orc would have, or I guess Uruk, because orc is their word. You can't say it. You have to say Uruk now. But it's kind of wild how like Nick looks like some like Russian hacking loser or something. I don't know. He looks like a totally different person. Did he dye his hair? It's kind of wild. He got rid of these glasses. I guess that was a good move. But quite strange. Quite strange. Yeah, she's goblin maxing. Am I wrong? Am I wrong saying this? And Fatty Caddy with 2 says, Nick afraid the Q is this K Bunny? Is that how you say that? Kabunny will bang his dad. That would be very disgusting. That could only get worse and worse if that happens. And Megas also says, eye bleach, please. Hey, there's eye bleach. If you're a member in the chat, you get access to the bleach. There you go. There's some bleach for you.
Right. He built his name, methodically breaking down legal cases on YouTube, had that kind of dry humor people loved, seemed like he was building a real community around his content. Active in those spaces like biggest problem in the universe, Comicsgate, gradually gaining traction.
And then boom, the Vic Mignogna case hits in 2019, which really launches him into this whole other level of spotlight.
Absolutely, that was pivotal.
Suddenly, he's the go-to for legal analysis,
Mhm.
especially within those anime communities.
Isn't that interesting the way that the AI adds in these sort of like listen to the way the guy says this in this one.
Suddenly, he's the go-to for legal analysis,
Mhm.
especially within those anime communities.
It's like especially within this is all AI generated. This is all AI generated. It's fascinating how good this is. Like if you want to like start a channel using this sort of stuff, you got a very powerful tool on your side now.
And the donations, both to legal funds and D, through those super chats,
Oh, yeah.
start pouring in.
It's important to meet that turning point because it really marks a shift, right? From just straight legal analysis into content that's much more driven by his personality. And then he gets this taste of
It was never a law channel. Remember that, chat. It was never like let's rewind the frames a second.
legal analysis into content that's much more driven by
This is when, if you're wondering what this frame is, he was doing a haha funny and weird parody of the chick on Twitch who was like, you don't have $5 to give to your streamer? Get the fuck out of my chat. If you don't have a $5, like, so this was his celebration stream for, I think it was like a big milestone, like 200K or something, or maybe it was 100,000. I can't remember. No, wait, it wasn't 100K because he promised a 24-hour stream for his 100K milestone, and he didn't deliver on that. That was the first promise he didn't deliver on, I think. But he dressed up as a thought. So he was wearing his like tight shirt, short shorts, thigh highs, and he got all his he's got his pixie lights. He stole all of his children's toys. These are his children's look at that, they've got a Lapras there, they've got a Mudkip. I guess you guys like fucking love Mudkips, right? Got a Vaporeon there, which as we know, well, never mind. You know what they say about Vaporeons. But he stole all of his kids like plushie toys, and they're like, Daddy, can we go to we want our plushie toys, we want to go to bed. He's like, no, this is Dad's busy, he's at work. This is a work thing. Don't come in here. But he did that on his Twitch channel at some point. But who can say why he did this? But it was pretty funny at the time, honestly.
by his personality.
He's also drinking straight out of a bottle of wine at this time.
And then he gets this taste of even bigger fame during the Rittenhouse and Depp versus Heard trials. Huge viewership, appearances on mainstream shows. I mean, think about it. Over 300 grand in super chats.
It was from that.
It's mind-boggling.
This is the big. If you look, I think his total super chats over his entire channel's lifetime is like 1.4 million. I'm pretty sure that's the case. I think Playboard. This is where this data came from. Is Playboard. This is obviously as of November 10th, 2021. So there's three years of data that's missing from this. But I think they've like pay-gated a lot of their features, which is very frustrating because it's a really good website, honestly. But yeah, it's like something in the range of $1.4 million in super chats alone. If you want to add in like sponsorships, premium, ad revenue, he's looking at something around $4 million worth of revenue from YouTube alone. That's not even including Rumble deals and things like that as well, or locals, which is I believe $5,000 a month. I want to say. No, wait, he had 5,000 subscribers on locals, but he was going to be the 5K gift, and each local supporter was like $5 a month. So that's like what, $25,000 a month right there. And most of those people subscribe for a year, and they get paid up front. Like their locals grift was like, don't get me wrong, that was a good grift. A lot of people started locals channels and got like these year-long subscriptions straight away, then just stopped making content. Absolutely fucking wild grift. Holy shit.
Rubbing shoulders with like Glenn Beck, Tim Pool even shows up on InfoWars. He's become this unlikely commentator, seemingly respected. But if we look closely at the sources, you start to see those cracks forming.
Exactly. And this is where I think his decisions start to unravel the image that he built so carefully. He makes the move to Rumble and locals, starts boasting about being
Terrible fucking move. Rumble's abandon all hope, all ye who enter.
uncancelable.
They have to cancel me. I've made myself effectively cancel proof. They can't do it anymore. I signed a deal with Rumble and locals, baby.
Tells his YouTube audience, hey, if you want to follow me, you got to come over there.
Alienating, right?
Totally. And it alienated some of his longest supporters while attracting a whole different breed.
And the content takes this hard left. Less about the law, more about his personal life, relationships, and, well, let's just say his favorite sex toys.
Yeah.
There's this weird fixation he develops on something called the ball.
Look at the ball. Like, look at when Nick is explaining this. Like, look at the stretch. Imagine this is being stretched around your testicles. This sounds like a torture device. I would rather go in the brazen bull than put on the ball, though.
Baldo. which listeners, you can look that up on your own time.
You know, he's clearly chasing that constant validation, the donations, the attention, starts neglecting his schedule, making excuses, becoming more and more erratic on stream. I mean, he's even insulting his own fan base at this point.
I'm always going to be me. I'm always going to talk about what I find interesting and funny. And other than, like, if that's not your
Funny
thing,
and weird.
please never give me money and fucking leave.
And this is prime law cow material, which
The funny thing is, have you noticed that there's like an interesting correlation between creators and when they say, like, if you don't like my content, fucking leave? It's funny how that almost always occurs around the time everybody fucking leaves. Bit funny and weird, isn't it? Megas with a 2 says, why are we watching this AI coverage? Because it's interesting to see the backstory as an AI generated NPR style thing. Like, this is not someone that put a script into it. This is someone that put in all the data for Rekieta, and then it generated this conversation by itself. Like, this is Google Notebook LM. It's a very powerful, very interesting tool to help that you can use to, like, get yourself through, like, maybe topics that you can't focus on normally. It really is very, very powerful. I'm trying to think of how I would use it though. I typically write all the stuff that I do myself. So I feel like if you want to start up a new channel, now the YouTube does have some rules against using AI content for monetization reasons. And I think legally you can't actually copyright anything that's generated by AI. I'm not entirely sure. That would vary by country. But there's certainly a lot of potential here. Like, you could just generate your own podcast topics, and then you could just listen to what the AI said and then just repeat it in your own time or something, I think. I feel like that'd be a very easy way to generate content.
say.
Oh, absolutely.
For those who might not be familiar with the term, a lolcow is basically someone the internet collectively points at and laughs at, often while they're, well...
It sounds like shit. Well, I mean, it's a 1.25. This is the normal speed.
Self-destructing. And Nick, unfortunately, he starts to become the poster child for this. I mean, there are entire forums dedicated to documenting his every misstep. With Kiwi Farms...
I don't know. I think this sounds pretty good. Now, to be fair, I do have another channel where people constantly accuse me of being an AI voice. It's very frustrating. Like, every other day, actually, they're not that common, but, like, you know, once a week or maybe a couple times a month or something, someone will say, like, I hate your videos so much. Why do you use an AI voice? It sounds dumb. I'm like, that's my real voice. It's very, very painful, very hurtful.
Being, you know, the most prominent.
Oh, for sure. And this is where the story gets even more bizarre. With this
going back to
Mandy
1.25
character.
speed.
Mandy.
Oh, Mandy, you came and you teased.
So this is a man that is using pictures from Reddit, what they were doing. So when Mandy would have a pair of tits on the screen, what they did, to try and avoid backwards image search, they would find a Reddit post of a very big tittied woman. They would take a picture of that with their phone, and then they would crop that and then upload it as a picture that was taken of them. So that way it wouldn't match up if you try and use Google or something to search for the photo. Didn't work. They found the Reddit posts. That's how we know that this person was fake. And it's actually fascinating, the way that Mandy got caught. Because I mean, it was pretty obvious they were a man. But then they tried to prove they weren't a man by going on Joe, Good Logic's show. And Joe boomered and doxed the phone number of the caller because he was doing a call-in show, and they used their real phone number. And then people, like, traced back the phone number. They found out who owned it, and they found out who Mandy was. It was exposed, and then they just disappeared.
With the picture. Now fucking go to bed, oh, Mandy. Mandy, show up at Anime Matsuri. I will sign your tits. I dare you to show up. Oh, goddamn. And Mandy, listen to this. Listen to me, girl. Wherever on your tits you like, I will sign them.
This is a man that has talked about being aggressively monogamous and said he had a policy against signing tits, because this is a policy he said he brought up when he was covering the Vic Mignogna being canceled for being, like, too grabby, basically, with Funimation. And if Nick hadn't got involved with Vic now owes, like, Monica Rial, Ron Toye, Jamie Marshy, I think Funimation as well. I'm not sure. Maybe it's the Okratron Studios or some shit. I don't know. He owes them $600,000 combined after the Kick Vic, like, backfired because Ty Beard was too much of a fucking boomer and he didn't know how to notarize, I believe, one of his affidavits. He's I can notarize this on the phone, surely, right? That makes sense. I'll just sign it for you. What's the problem? So that's where he is. But this is after that went down. Nick said, I wouldn't sign anyone's tits. That's degenerate behavior, and I don't approve of it, and I'm aggressively monogamous. And then he's like, progressively sees more fake titties in his own locals chat full of its wine mums. And then he was like, you know what? I haven't actually seen this pair of tits before. So I will actually touch your tits if you come to Anime Matsuri. Yeah, very aggressively monogamous, who could say? Let's see. AI content is fine for people with low IQ / standards. But that's the problem, is that's the majority of audience. Like, the majority of the entire world is below 100, right? Like 100 is the average. So if there's like basically half the world has less than 100 IQ and you can make money from them, with this sort of content, why don't you do it? Now, like I said, I'd make all my content myself, so I don't have to worry about this. But the money's on the table, I think, for a lot of people, monetizing people that just want to listen to slop. Like, is it so wrong to get rich selling slop? I mean, I don't do it, but think about it. If you want to, do you want to be the slop vendor, or do you want to go to work for Mr. Steinberg in the office for 8 hours a day? I don't know. Think about it. Think about it. It's just something to consider.
Take that. Camelot, hey, do you know Mandy?
Yeah. How can someone not know Mandy?
She has nice tits.
Mandy is...
How did Jessica know? She said he has nice tits. How did Jessica know? She knew. Hashtag Jess knew. Oh my goodness.
So fucking gorgeous.
Would eat that ass.
Oh my God. Man, if I were single, Mandy, you would never be single again. Mandy, if I were not married, girl, I would wreck you. I would save you. I would do whatever on earth. Camelot, I don't need MDMA from
What if
Mandy.
the PP was trying to get you to Mandy?
Mandy is so goddamn hot. Mandy is fucking phenomenally hot. I'm a Christian, trad, whatever.
I feel like we have to play like the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme. Holy shit, this was it's all archived too.
Lady Rackets will tell you that you are fucking fire. I don't need to say a goddamn word. And listen,
Then stop
Mandy
talking.
is gorgeous. She's a gorgeous woman. And Lady Rackets would fucking
Make it stop.
fawn over Mandy.
A top fan in his locals chat.
Sovereign Bossman says, how would your partner react if you said this shit publicly about another woman? She would leave me. Of course she would. Because she has self-respect. I mean, and you should. Or you at least need to like go to like couples counseling or some shit. If you're married for 20 years and your husband or wife says this shit, maybe don't just abandon them straight away. Like if you're just dating for a couple of years and they say this shit, then break up. Just find someone else. But if, I do think you can repair relationships as long as you get to them before they reach that tipping point. And what is the tipping point, you might ask? Probably putting your dick in another woman. That's probably the tipping point. Or, maybe signing the tits. Maybe that's too much. Who can say?
Known for, let's say, suggestive comments.
So these are the comments that Mandy was posting. I dropped my phone on my face, tee-hee. Yeah, this big-tittied mechanic woman just happens to be in your locals chat. Yeah, funny and weird how that works, right?
Constantly vying for his attention.
This is where you have to remember. This guy's a lawyer.
Right.
Someone who you think would be able to sniff out a scam a mile away.
You would think.
Yeah, all about that.
Turns out, Mandy, not so much a Mandy, it was a man named Daniel Harris, older than Nick, who'd been catfishing him for...
This is another way. So Mandy posted this picture saying, hey, Kiwi Farms, I did not accept your apology. And this is the Mandy art style. It's actually very recognizable. It's got because it's very bad. And you've seen a few profile. I've seen a few profile pictures that use the Mandy art style. It should have been obvious from these hands. Like as someone that is a hand identifier, I could tell that this was a man from the beginning.
For years. Stolen photos, made up stories, voice calls, the whole 9 yards.
It's almost like you laugh, but it's also kind of sad, right?
It is.
The supposed trad dad lawyer getting played like a fiddle by some guy pretending to be a woman online.
They played us like a goddamn fiddle. Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
You really cannot make this stuff up.
But this is also where it goes from just being a personal anecdote, right, to a cautionary tale about the dangers of online personas and these parasocial relationships.
Especially when you add in that whole hedonism the second thing. Remember those crypt...
Hedonism the second? I like that. Hedonism nude beach, no clothing beyond this point. Hedonism, be wicked for a week. How did they post this picture and not... Well, okay, I answered my own question now. I was going to say, how did they post this picture and not expect the internet to figure it out? The answer to that is, of course, they wanted people to figure it out because they're exhibitionists.
Posts about his Jamaican vacation.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, guys, I got a question for you. I'm taking Lady Rackets to Jamaica. I wasn't supposed to say what island. I fucked up. That's drunkenness.
The internet sleuths. Always one step ahead, they quickly identified that location. Turns out it's a swingers resort. Just
they probably wouldn't have figured out it was hedonism if Nick didn't decide to stream from hedonism, because they identified it by looking at the rooms that they were staying in. So if he said he was going to Jamaica, he probably could have gotten away with this, honestly. But it's just like the Keffels was streaming in like Ireland, and they like identified it from like the doorknobs. Same deal. They figured it out just from the room that Nick was in, who's live streaming from. He couldn't go a couple weeks without that internet attention.
Completely blew up that carefully constructed family man
And
image.
blew it to smithereens.
Completely.
And, he tries to deny it.
Of course.
But the internet.
Yeah.
The internet never forgets.
Never forgets and loves hypocrisy. Like, that's the fuel.
Oh, it's prime rib.
Oh, yeah.
For the internet.
This is where you see that lolcow phenomenon.
Yeah.
This is the singlet he got arrested in too. This is very, I guess you call a wife beater, right? But it's got the Jamaican singlet, the Jamaican wife beater. He got arrested in this wife beater. And I wonder, there's something very funny. Let me just quickly check. Let me just check. Hold on a second. I'm going to go over to Legal Mindsets channel. Legal Mindsets channel. And there's something very funny. If we search for Nick on Andrew's channel, I thought this was a very funny move. I think it was a very subtle. There we go. All right. So if you go to Legal Mindsets channel and you look at these Nick arrested streams, and so this started. Did this whole saga start 4 months ago? It feels like an eternity. Was it only 4 months ago that this all began? But anyway, I thought this was very funny because Andrew used the Jamaican colors in his Rekieta arrest video, and you can actually see in the singlet, you can see the green and the yellow there. I thought this was a very funny, subtle detail that Andrew threw in. I thought it was very good. I appreciated that. I like those little details. Where were we? Oh shit! I forgot my. There we are. I think it was pretty clever. It was pretty clever. Little Easter egg for the chat to discover.
In full effect. His thread on Kiwi Farms, it just explodes. I mean, users are documenting every drunken rant, his obsession with this Baldo thing.
Still.
Even a drunken confession, which who knows how true it is, about visiting a gay bar for an underwear party.
2 lesbians tried to pick us up, and two gay men tried to have sex with me.
Tried?
I don't know. None of them succeeded. It was a good fucking time.
Oh, boy.
It's wild.
That's quite a leap from uncancelable.
Talk about a contrast.
Yeah, Mr. Uncancelable over here.
Right, the persona he's trying to build.
Yeah.
And, of course, what happens?
I think this is very good. Honestly, this is very good AI. I've heard a lot of podcasts that are worse than this. People are criticizing these NPR style Google Notebook LM. I think it's pretty solid.
Viewership drops. Local subscriptions plummet. Those super chats that were once flowing like wine.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's take a look at some of these details. January super chats, $13,000. Ooh. 2,400 on Rumble. This is in 2023. January total, $15,000. Holy shit. Looking at 2024, $2,005. Wait, that's crazy. Wait, did I make more in April super chats than Nick did? Not in April. Not in April. I may have made more than him in August. That's insane. I guess he didn't stream though. That's true. That's funny. That's like funny and weird, right? This man used to have 100,000 concurrent live viewers for his big trial streams, and look what he's happened to him. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Slow to a trickle. Even Rumble, I think, starts having second thoughts about their golden boy.
Yeah, the shine wears off.
It does. And just when you think, okay, it can't get weirder.
It can't possibly.
Hold my beer.
Can't
He finds
possibly.
new friends. The Imholtz from the Steel Toe Morning Show.
Oh, this is where they enter the picture.
They do. And they start collaborating.
All right, chat. What do you think? Wait, did Aaron lick? Look, Aaron licked back. Oh my goodness, Aaron's trying to say he doesn't like face licking. He's licking back. Look at that. All right, what do we think about the Aaron goatee? I think it's a doom. Is this a boom or a doom, chat? The double chonk chocolate mustache. What do you think? Boom or doom? Yes or no? I think it's doom. I think he gotta shave it off. He did shave it off, but I'm not into this one.
Sharing an audience and even hinting at, you guessed it, more swinging.
Oh, yeah, adding fuel to the fire.
Pouring gasoline on it at this
Yeah.
point. It all kind of culminates in May 2024 with this police raid on his home.
Yeah, this is where it goes from
Oh, yeah.
internet shenanigans to real life consequences.
Because now we're talking cocaine, paraphernalia,
Yeah.
the whole shebang. He's charged with drug possession, child neglect. And then, of course, there's the infamous coke stream.
Oh, we have to talk about the Coke Street, this train wreck.
Just days before the arrest.
I don't know. I kind of like the banter between these two robots. The way that they're like laughing and giggling. It's kind of good. It's kind of actually endearing. There's something
This
about it.
horrifying glimpse into the meltdown. He's disheveled, rambling incoherently, and it appears that he's, well, engaging in some on-camera self-gratification.
Yeah. Which, according to the warrant, was actually part of the evidence that was presented to Judge Fisher. And if you're keeping score, that's the same judge from Nick's whole defamation case with Monograph.
Oh, wow. Worlds colliding.
Talk about worlds colliding.
You can't make this stuff.
It's like, what are the odds?
Right. So initially people think, okay, slap on the wrist, maybe some probation. But then the charges get upgraded.
I do.
To a second-degree felony, which is a whole different ballgame. You're talking about 25 years if he's convicted.
Wow.
And then the child.
Realistically, that's not going to happen. And why are we watching this? Because it's the deepest breakdown. It's like the very beginning to the outro in just 15 minutes. Oh, actually, it's 13 minutes, actually. And we're watching it on 1.25 speed, so it's not even that. It's like 10 minutes. You can't stand 10 minutes of AI schlop. Just rewind the stream like 40 minutes and listen to me say the same things again.
Neglect charges, that brings in Child Protective Services. This is not online drama anymore.
No.
This is serious stuff.
This is real life.
And everyone starts to backpedal. I mean, Fox News, Daily Mail, everyone's covering it. This house of cards is collapsing.
There was so Nick Starro, he's the non-drug addict Nick, long-haired guy, good guy actually. I like Nick Starro. He's got a good little channel going over there. He's a Swedish lawyer. He posted an article. This is actually news in Sweden now. April, Nick, Kayla, and Aaron are news in Sweden. That's how far on this, and this already made it to Australia. Like this was news in Australia as well. But it's actually penetrating the language barrier. That's how engaged people are with this story. That they're actually going and translating into the Swedish language. We can hear about the Nick Rekieta. Is that? I don't know. I'm not very good with accents. I can barely speak English as it is.
And then, as if things couldn't get any worse, enter Aaron Imholt Stage left, the supposed friend from the Steel Toe Morning Show, and he delivers, I don't know if it's a final blow because it seems like there's a new blow every week.
The final blow by the steel toe. That rhymes. That means it's true.
Right.
But he really goes in.
Yeah, he does.
He does, goes public, starts detailing the drug.
Wait, hold on a second. This might be a lost in translation thing. Sweden equals home of the Scandinavian prudes. Is there I actually don't know about the Scandinavian prudes. Like, I thought that Sweden was known for being degenerate. Isn't it? Am I wrong about this? Every time, there was a joke on Malcolm in the Middle. I remember when I was a kid. They're from Sweden. They don't even have a word for virginity over there. When Malcolm and his brother Reese were trying to get laid, when they had some Swedish honeys over, right, in their thing. I thought that Scandinavians were meant to be degenerates, right? Everyone thinks of Germany when you think of degenerates. Scandinavian prudes? Is that a American reference? I'm unfamiliar with this, honestly. They import degenerates. The Minnesotan Scandinavians all came from North. So it's the Minnesota. So it's the American Scandinavians that are the prudes. Because I'm pretty sure that Swedish people are pretty degenerate. I mean, don't they just piss on sharks and then bury it in the ground and then eat it? That's not prudish behavior. That's pretty disgusting.
Drug use, the swinging, paints this really dark picture of Nick.
He does.
Which, I guess we'll talk about Aaron and his motivations and all that.
Right, we've got to unpack that.
Yeah, we'll unpack that.
For sure.
But it's
a lot there.
It's brutal, but it does seem to confirm, I don't know, a lot of
Oh,
what
so
the
it's
online world
just
had
specifically
been
his
piecing
people?
together,
Okay.
for months at that point.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it lends credence to it for sure. And look, as if this story couldn't get any more tragic, we get these leaked documents from Child Protective Services, and they reveal that
Minnesota Public Records, gone but not forgotten. They don't have any more ammo. We always still hope that they'll drop something, but Nick never streams anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. They came and did their work. Nick got bullied off the internet. How embarrassing.
one of his kids tested positive for cocaine.
Oh, man.
And not a small amount either. 10 times the threshold for a false positive, according to those documents.
It's just, I don't know, it's tough to hear that. Suddenly those memes, that lolcow label, it all feels pretty insignificant.
Absolutely. It's a harsh reminder that we're dealing with real people here.
Yeah.
Families, real world consequences.
Nick, of course, tries to deflect, says nobody has the full story, but the damage is done. His reputation, his career, shot.
Yeah.
And he's staring down some serious legal trouble.
Yeah, and then in a last act of, I don't even know what to call it, he files revenge porn charges against Aaron Imholt.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep. Adds another layer to this whole messy situation. Just when you think it can't get any more complicated.
Aaron's pretty much beaten the charges. He's pleaded it down to a misdemeanor. In December, he's going to go. He's basically got away with it. He can't keep getting away with it. It's another fucking win for the toe. How can he keep doing it? Oh my goodness.
It's like watching a car crash, a train wreck, and a dumpster fire all at once.
It's a lot to process.
But it's fascinating, isn't it? In a disturbing kind of way. This deep dive into the dark side of online fame, the potential consequences.
And it really brings us to that bigger question, doesn't it? What can we, as both consumers and participants in this online world, learn from something like
As a consumer, you can keep fucking consuming the product. Eat the schlop. Eat the schlop.
this from Nick Rekieta's very public downfall?
It's easy to get caught up in it, right? The drama, the gossip, that schadenfreude element.
Oh, for sure.
But this story, it highlights those very real dangers when those lines between our online personas and our offline lives, they start to blur. And
What's a little fun little detail is that she's got like little kiwi slices on her dress, and he's got a little kiwi badge, like lapel badge. That's kind of cute. I like that detail. If Third World Aristocrat is still in the chat, that's a pretty cute little detail.
and then they completely disappear.
The internet can be ruthless and unforgiving. Anonymity, it emboldens people, information spreads like wildfire, and once you're in the crosshairs of that court of public opinion, good luck escaping it.
Nick Rekieta, he built his career on being the internet's trad dad lawyer. That was his thing.
Like he literally, like she's not even just joking here. He literally had streams called the Chad Dad streams and the Big Brain panels. And now look at him. He's not a Chad. He's a cuck. And he's got a wee brain from all the coke and alcohol. Very sad. You hate to see it.
But that persona, well, it couldn't withstand the weight of his own actions.
And the people he surrounded himself with, online and offline, they played a role too. Let's not let them off the hook.
This whole case, it's a cautionary tale, that's for sure. It's a reminder to be mindful of those personas we create online, to be wary of that allure of instant fame, instant validation, and to really consider the human cost, the real world cost of our actions in this digital age.
Because the internet, unlike Nick Rekieta's career, it shows no signs of slowing down.
And that's our deep dive for today. It's heavy stuff. It's a lot to unpack. And if you're anything like us, you probably have more questions than answers right now, but hopefully you're walking away with a renewed sense of, I don't know, caution as you navigate this ever-evolving landscape of the internet.
I know it's our job to help this guy and everything, but I think this guy's a lost cause. He's obviously made up his mind. Why don't we just cut our losses and get out of here?
That was a nice little. I'm glad I stuck around for the smiling friends meme, but that's such a valuable meme to throw in there. Very good. I wish I like the smiling friends. They're fun. They're fun. I got to use this in my Rings of Power review. Oh my goodness, that's a fun one, right? Been a while. We haven't talked about Nick in like a couple of weeks. There's probably won't be any more information on Nick, I would imagine, until his actual trial date. What I think is going to happen is the next information you see about him is going to be the scheduling. Can you link the channel? Of course I can. That is Third World Aristocrat. I linked it earlier, but I'll link it again. There we go. That channel. Yeah. They've only got 300 subscribers so far and 9 videos, but looks like there's a lot of potential. We'll be watching your career with great interest, Mr. Third World and Aristocrat. But yeah, as I was saying, I think the next thing that you're going to see, I'll leave it on screen while I talk. There you go. I think the next thing we're going to see is the scheduling, and that'll be if Nick decides to fight or plea out. And then we'll see, it'll be the trial after that. And if it goes to trial, if Nick decides to double down and beat the government, or try to beat the government, then that means that the body cam comes out. Now, I'm not exactly sure if taking the plea would suppress the body cam footage, but I would imagine he would try and argue for that. And that may be at the judge's discretion. I don't know. I'm not sure that anyone really knows. It's kind of uncharted territory. But I guess we'll find out in not too long a time frame, because I think if he's going to plea out, it'll be in the next couple of weeks. And if it's going to trial, then December or January is possible. But it could be sooner. You never know. You never know. So I think that's what will happen next. But in my imagination, he takes the plea. I think that's what he does. Megal says with a 5, says, you're really happy about this AI that can replace you, meme? Hey, it is what it is. If I'm not good enough to beat AI, then I don't deserve a channel. That's what it is with all AI replaceable jobs. If your job can be replaced by a computer, tough shit. That's what it is. I mean, do you think all the people complained when like the tractors came in, like, oh my goodness, the tractor's taking my jobs. I don't have to shovel shit anymore. This is unfair. I'm not going to be one of those guys. You got to evolve or move on. Is what it is. What was I going to say? I was going to say, yeah. So later in the week, we should have a new episode. The final 2 episodes of Rings of Power. One will be out. Well, the episode comes out tomorrow. It'll take me 2 or 3 days to get out my review. But I'm going to try and power through those so I get them out really fast. So you can expect those. If you haven't checked out my Rings of Power videos, I think they're very funny. Of course. Wait, hold on a second. Let me bring one up. Hold on. I'll show you. I'll give you a brief look at it. I got to try and shill my own shit before the AI computers replace me. Right? We need to do that. I'll show you what you can look forward to if you go over to my channel. The rings of, well, first of all, there's ads apparently. Getting trolled on my own channel with yoga ads. All right, I'll just show you the here's a big spoiler. Rings of Power, the Anatar. Here we go. I'll play this for a second. If you want to see this content on my channel, this is what's coming up this week. More of this. Oh wait, hold on. There we go. The fruition and understand. Sauron didn't really sneak on them. I wonder what it could be. But no time for pondering that now, because Sauron's master plan has come to fruition and is finally revealed. Step 1, arouse Galadriel. Step 2, neglect Celebrimbor emotionally. Step 3, negotiate Mithril. Step 4, allow Eregion to burn. Step 5, take the 9. Step 6, attract men. And finally, step 7, rangs to rule them all.
What the hell are you talking about, dude? I'm talking about the system.
I think it's fair to say that episode... There we go. Oh no, I went to subscribe to my own channel. What a disaster. There we go. I sound like an AI. Deal with it. My job's already been replaced. I think those videos are funny. There's 6 episodes already available. Look at that. You can go watch all 6 episodes. Look at that. Look at that. Great stuff on the channel. Start with episode 1. Go check out episode 2, 3. You got loving orc families. You got Galadriel getting what she fucking deserves. You've got 37% of the audience can't even finish the show. And they've got doubling down on $1 billion property. Go check out that video in the chat. I'll link it previously on. I'll link it in the chat. And then it's time for me to go to bed. I've got something very important to do tomorrow. And then I've got to get back to editing fucking videos. Not only on this channel, I've got multiple channels to edit on. It's rough. It's hard for me over here. But thank you for joining us, chat. It's been a wonderful night. We'll get the cats back. Where is it? Nope, that's the wrong one. That's when April escapes the Baldo thing. There we go. The cats are back. All right. The cats seem good. Thanks, chat. Stay safe out there. Don't fall to degeneracy. May the Emperor protect you. And peace. Wait, what am I going to play on the way out? What are we going to play on the way out? Here we go.
You can't keep getting away with it! You can't keep getting away with it!
Sorry, Kiwi Fags. Life doesn't work out the way you pretend it does.
I never thought I'd say this, but shouldn't we be
law-splaining the interwebs?
Say the line!
Interesting new matter of public record attached.
Yeah!